Okay, hi everyone. Before you start the show tonight, something Cam and I are introducing into this podcast in alignment with our commitment to getting as much of ourselves offline. We are starting to have a little section in the podcast right here at the beginning where you, as the community, can, if you want to, make us a little 1 minute video. If you've got on something like an event or a retreat or an idea or some service or anything that you would like to promote to our audience, just to make get your phone, put it horizontal, and make us a little video around 1 2 minutes long, which we will play here as part of our community
Notice board.
connectivity. New
Yes.
community notice board, right? So it's a really good way to participate on a whole other level once again. And I don't think there's anyone else doing such a crazy thing, Campbell.
No, I don't believe there
Myself?
is.
All right, perfect. Then I love it. Okay, so we are just going to promote an event that's happening that would be of great interest to our community. Um, it's a retreat at Golden Ridge, and the keynote speaker is Michelle Gibson. So, if anyone in Australia has been wanting to see Michelle speak live and like get up close and personal with Michelle, she's fucking excellent, by the way. I love Michelle. I think she's such a nice woman and
She
so much and
is.
so knowledgeable, such a beautiful brain. So she's going to be in attendance, and it's called Revisit the Child within Homestay. It's basically happening on the 21st of February in 2026 to what is it? The 21st to the 28th, February 2026. They've got speakers coming, and actually this is very cool because the ladies behind this cool retreat were all on the Bosnian trip, Cam.
They
So
were.
it's like the whole little community. And I'm so excited and so happy to support anyone in the community doing anything like this. Anything like this. Like, fuck yeah, excellent.
Mm.
So I'm just going to leave up a link. Cam's going to play a video in a minute and just have have it be talked about a little bit more. You can read it here. But yes, this is a retreat that's happening in February as Michelle Gibson as the keynote speaker. And I recommend you guys check it out. And is there a website here, Campbell? No,
Um,
there's an email. So
there's an
if you're
email. Yeah.
interested and want more information, Campbell will put the information under where he normally does, and you can make contact and find out more about it. So, yay, well done, ladies. We full support you, whatever help we can give. And Campbell, please play the videos, my friend, and
Play the
open
video.
invitation
Have I
every
got the
single
video?
week. If anyone wants to give us a video to support their great work and introduce themselves, bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it to us and we shall play it because that's excellent and fun.
Yeah, do it. We obviously want people to meet up and we want to promote anything that you're doing to promote that. So just send us an email, tartariaaustralia.com at no, tartariaaustralia@gmail.com.
Thank you, Campbell. Purvis.
Hi all. Have you ever wished that you could go back to when you were a child, when life was simple, we didn't have to think about all the things we think about today? Well, that's what we're trying to achieve in our week-long retreat here at the beautiful Golden Ridge. We'll start each day with a dance with Morag, who's coming from Scotland to do her flow dancing. Don't worry, you don't have to know how to dance. You just move with your body like you did when you were a child. And we also have Lynn coming over. Lynn's from Georgia, and she'll be doing all of our cooking. She's a raw food chef, but it won't be all raw food, but it will be healthy food. And we've also got Michelle coming from Arizona, Michelle Gibson, and she'll be doing a lot of ley line work around the area. We're going to go on a few field trips. We're going to go on one to waterfalls, then we'll go on another one to a significant ley line in Wollongong, and then we'll have a day trip to Sydney for the overseas people who haven't been there, but Michelle will be looking at the ley lines also in Balangarang. Actually, I can't remember. Like in town. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll stop this video and I'll do another video going around the house so that you can see the accommodation where you'd be staying. Okay, this is in February 2026, by the way. Okay, if you need any more details, contact me on 0403 682 692. Thanks. Okay, this is just a quick scan of the area around the retreat house where you'd be staying. It's very beautiful. We have a fire pit here that we'll be using at night time if there's not a complete fire van. And I'll just take you in and show you the beautiful rooms where you will be staying. Okay, this is the house here. We have someone staying in here at the moment, so but I'll just show you just one of the rooms for now. Okay, so this is the pink room, and they're all oops, there's stuff on that. They're all very similar. Maybe the purple room might be better. Yes, here you are, and this is the purple room. All the rooms are fairly similar. Okay, and we've got a beautiful big communal room where we will all eat together every morning after our dance. And this is the room out here, and it looks out onto our beautiful gardens.
All right, excellent. Play away, my friend.
Okay,
and
here it is.
let's start the show. Good morning, evening, afternoon, Tartaria Australia. Good day, mate. How you going?
Good, how you doing? It's been a little while. Sorry, guys, we didn't make it last week,
We
but we're back.
tried. I feel like, to be honest, the way that summer's going to roll is that Tartaria Australia will appear on days where it's storming, cold, or raining. And when it's above 35 degrees, my brain melts and there's no point. It's mush. I can't do it. So if we have a heat spell, I'm sorry, everyone, but that's just my reality.
Yes.
I overheat, my brain goes blank.
Yes.
I should not be living in Australia.
I know, right? Jeez. Bloody loving England.
I know. Oh, well, hey, buddy. So any community updates before we start the show? I've got one.
Oh, what
Which
have you
is,
got?
I'm
mean,
super
yes.
sorry, everyone,
Oh,
but these all got returned this week from America. So I have tried this so many times, swear to God, what's going on in the post service right now. So these got posted about 2 weeks ago, and all through this terribly awful customs declaration, horrible process that they no longer do at the Australia Post Office. You have to do it online. So hello, digital ID. You have to do it. You can't, they will not do it at the post office anymore. And I did all that. Took me hours because I want you so much to have this. And then I got them all back because the new tariffs came out. And there's a new program attached now that I didn't know about that is an extra tariff on top of the already outrageous postal. So, oh my God, guys. So now I've had to apply for a refund and start the whole process again. So I'm so sorry, America. God, we're trying. Your
Yeah.
president's making it very hard right now. Your Jewish president is making it super hard to get you this lovely newspaper. But I will try again. By the end of the week, hopefully you'll get it back. So I just wanted to put that out in case you're saying, where the fuck is the magazine, everyone? It's been ages.
Yeah, it's weird, right? I mean, I thought he was all about increasing business, but stopping the mail is going to be hurting businesses, I would
Oh.
think.
And the tariffs are really high, and this is just like we're just sending a newspaper. Imagine if you've got like online businesses that you've been having for ages with America, or not even online, just like actually products that you make, that for small businesses, terrible, shocking.
Mm.
They won't survive. They just can't do it. It's not even practical. They can't do it. The amount of time it takes to send one thing, it's like basically cutting America off from the entire world marketplace. Just
It's
saying.
crazy, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the US, and as we'll probably get into, like we don't know if it's real. Like, let us know in the comments what is going on. All this ICE stuff and National Guard, and now the Don's knocking down half the White House to build a new ballroom, which apparently looks a lot like Solomon's Temple.
That's perfect.
Interesting.
Perfect.
And he's already
Yeah.
built the ark, right?
Yeah.
So crazy time, right? It's like the digital ID we all know about, it's looming. And I think they're just trying to do it a different way in America because with the whole ICE thing, they're saying, well, now you need to carry ID so that we know that you're a citizen and not an illegal. And that's just a back door to the digital
Oh,
ID, right? So it's coming.
but it's not just that, Cam. Like you actually can't travel to Europe now without it. You can't travel
I
like to
know.
Bali without it. So,
Bali?
yeah. So
Oh,
it's like there's this whole
schnitzel.
thing. I mean, it's just going to come in through travel. And what do you do, guys? You can't sit on a mountaintop in a cave for the next fucking 50 years. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you can deny the actual formal way of doing it. Like, obviously, we will do that. But in relationship to basically, maneuvering your life for the next 50 years, it's going to be a problematic situation not to do it. What do you
Yeah.
say? I mean, it's like they're giving us fucking annoying, like we've been checkmated. You
Yeah, and like
reckon?
anyone who's, getting assistance from the government in any way, if you don't sign on, it'll all get cut, right? So they've got all these different back doors to force people into it,
Yeah,
and business and travel and all. It's like the Jabberwocky, but on steroids, right? They're like
yeah.
going hard. So just say no, people. Like
Well, I
this.
mean, it'll be the same with the driver's license by next year. It'll be the same with basics that you can't avoid. Like it's just going to be there. So I don't know. I think we just have to, like, at this point, it's not really our fight, is it? Like, I mean, you and I would agree that like that side of reality will take care of itself, will dissolve behind us,
Yeah,
you know? So I don't know. Is it worth the anxiety? Is it worth the pain in the arseness? Because at this end of the day, Cam, it's my belief, and I could be wrong because I haven't seen the extent of this, but it's my belief they've already got all of that. It's already done. It's already done. You've already signed up for your power bills, your
well,
mortgage, your leases, your
yeah, the
taxes, all that
banking,
shit.
all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, your fucking registration. Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, they did a big thing in Australia when it turned into MyGov, right? For all the job seeker stuff and health stuff
yeah,
and basically any government assistance, you had to sign on to that. And that's really
yeah.
just, yeah, it's just a platform of digital ID. So it's going to be an interesting time navigating all this. But I mean, like you said, I think in the end, I don't think we're all going to the same place, right? I do think it's a frequency thing, and I see it already, the split happening. And I think if we just continue on that road, then the rest of it will disappear, right? We just won't
Yeah.
be able to interact with it anymore.
And just so everyone knows, I totally plan to bring cigarettes to the New Earth. So don't think you're going to turn into a health camp on my ass, everyone.
To start growing tobacco.
That's right. Our own tobacco, our own weed. Anyway, that's not the topic of this day's conversation. But look, I will tell you, everyone, that we've got the newspaper coming out. I'm in production right now. So for the second edition, this is your week. This is your week between now and the next podcast to be the final time you can submit your thing, article, ad, poem, story, classified, pen friend requests, classified sections. You want to sell something, you want to buy something, you want help with something, you've got some golden nuggets to share, you've got some theories, some research, some random photos that you haven't ever been able to put anywhere. Now is the time. And the theme of this edition is, and we don't even know if a theme will work. I don't know how organized everyone is. This is the trial one of having a theme. Trial one of having a theme is that we were really interested in looking at the world as a whole and looking at the forbidden, trying to identify in our continents the forbidden lands, the reserve land, the nature parks, inverted
Mm.
commas, the militarized area, the no-go areas.
Yeah, anywhere we can't go. Obviously, we can start with, the Arctic and Antarctica, but there's a lot of space in the countries where you can't go. I think it's in South Australia. There's an area bigger than the UK
Yeah.
that is off limits.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
so what's going on there? We need to get onto this and sign up for the paper. When you go there, definitely sign up for our newsletter. Get on our email list because, like we said, we don't know what's going on, but that way at least we'll still have a contact point. And the paper is completely uncensored and completely un-AI. It's completely human driven, right? It's not no crap in there. You don't have to worry if it's AI or if it's real.
Yep.
It's all real by humans, and this is where we need to get back to, right? Like the internet is fast becoming useless, right? It's eating itself because it's not real anymore. It's now populated by bots and AI, and everything you watch, you sit there wondering, is this real or is it
Yeah.
generated?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've got a big conversation on the topic of AI. Like, there's just definitely, as I've stepped away from it a bit and start to analyze it from a different perspective, fuck, man, there's so much to talk about. But I will do that in a minute. Like, I don't want to jump into that one yet because it's a big topic with a lot of intelligence yet to be sort of brought forward. There's a lot of beautiful minds that haven't like cast their thought process to the sort of like projecting forward with AI and what's to come in the more subtle levels, in the
Mm,
more psychological levels, less
yeah,
the sort of tangible physical things that are obvious to us in what it's doing and how it's replacing humans from the earth.
yeah.
Basically.
It's like everything they bring in, right? They tell us it's so good for us. It'll improve our lives. It'll make things better. And name me one time when that's ever happened. It's always been introduced as good and it ends up being a control system. And then the whole business thing, they're trying to get everyone to run their businesses through AI, and I mean, look, if you run a business and build a business on AI, who do you think's got ultimate control of that?
Yeah.
If they decide they don't like you, well, if you're in their system, you'll suddenly have no business. So what's the point really in building one, right? I think
It's hard, man.
we need to
It's
build
hard because we're
3D.
on it right now, Like it's a fight. The human being is like fast approaching some not moral dilemmas. Like I feel like we're past that. Not ethical dilemmas, because I feel like we're past that and we have no control of that at this point. What it's calling into play for us individually is our the command of our own nature. It's asking us to sort of like understand because to me, like if you were to summarize it, and I have to confess, Cam, my narrative and all this is still young. I haven't found the right words really as I grasp for the concepts. But like, Cam and I've always talked about the parasitic agenda and how it has separated us from God being within us. That's sort of where we start, right? Is
Yeah.
the idea that God's out there in space, and God's just one of the issues. Like as soon as you start putting God out there in space, you start putting care for the earth out there in space. You start putting your own personal moral code out there in space. You start putting your gnosis out there. You start putting everything outside of you on a pedestal and you in the pit. Like you start forming this relationship that's severing your human connection to life. And so, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that it's already happening, right? We all know what an algorithm is and what an echo chamber is.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
already honing our points of view and shifting them and all this stuff. We've heard about the bots on Facebook and everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And they're literally getting in and pretending to be humans and swaying people's opinion to where they want it to go.
Yeah.
And this is clearly the whole agenda. This is the end game. This is not just something that people are using to make money. It's not just Zuckerberg trying to get a few more dollars. This is an agenda by the parasitic invaders to
Well, this is the
totally
invaders.
totally
This is the
control us.
invasion.
This is the invasion. Like they're here, but now they want your soul, right? They want your mind. They want to control it all because that they think that we're less than them. They think we're slaves. They want us to act like that. And if we walk down this path, we're walking straight into the trap, man. It's a
It's
honeypot.
so crazy, Cam. Like you watch all these fucking sci-fi movies and fantasy films, and you watch all these alien invasion movies. So you've got this kind of concept that the invasion's gonna has come from somewhere out there,
Spaceships.
somewhere not here.
Three-eyed
And
Atlas.
yeah, and that when it occurs, it'll be obvious to us, and we're going to see it, and it's going to be a point of noticeable, observable, experienceable difference that we'd be able to say, finally, we see the invaders. Like, if they build the Ark of the Covenant and Trump builds the third temple, and they sacrifice their Red Bulls and all this blood spurting everywhere, and children being murdered, and then bang, out comes Jehovah or Baal or Moloch or whatever fucking word you want to put on it, God. Christ, Jesus, whatever word you want to put on it. Like, and the world's going to be like, I see an observable, like, invader, non-human entity. And
Mm.
in fact, and all the alien invasion movies we've ever seen, it's scary and stressful, but it's obvious that it's happening and it's then, and it's a quick moment in time. Not our experience. Our experience now is that this invading force has integrated into all of our lives before we've even known or acknowledged it. We are already so integrated with it, and we're only just starting to call out now. Call it out now that this is the invader. This is the invading technology. Not one action online we make now that doesn't have an insipid like seed intention to replace your relationship with human beings. So the whole
It's
thing with
Sorry, it's true. I mean, that's what a parasite does, right? Parasites have, toxins or drugs or whatever that they put into their host so that the host has no idea that they're there or that they're a parasite. And that's what the internet is. And I mean, the scary thing is you can go out, go to a shopping center or go walk down the street and see how many kids, like under 5, are staring at screens. That's all they know. By the time they're adults, the 2D world is going to be more real to them than the 3D world. They're going to trust it more.
absolutely.
They're going to want to interact with it more. And I mean, at that point, it's kind of game over for those people, right? Because they
Yeah, I mean
don't know
it's
anything else.
yeah, and the programming of our neuropathways on the topic of AI is, oh my God, that is such
Yeah.
a new, like we're only just starting to really even get the most basic comprehension of what that looks like.
Well,
What that really does to the human relationship to the human
mm,
being.
yeah, like Dr. Joe Dispenza always says, what is it? Neurons that fire together, wire together.
Yeah,
And what he's saying is the more you think about something, the more you do something, then the
yeah,
more of a habit that becomes.
yes,
And so just with basic things, and as basic as going on Facebook and arguing with people, because they're not a 3D person in front of them, you treat them differently than you would treat a person in front of you, right? And so people are mean, they'll say stuff, they'll do stuff that they would never do
yeah,
in public in an actual 3D world.
yeah,
That's wiring their brain
yeah.
into habits. So soon they're going to walk into people and that's all they're going to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Empathy. Like that is a direct like weapon against empathy,
Yeah.
and it can be like as obvious as you being like an ass online because you have no empathy, as if whoever you're talking to, whoever you're commenting on, isn't human. Which is like, we've all seen this. I mean, it's been quite a shocking thing. We can't say for sure that was humans responding to humans. We don't know.
No,
Like, but in that moment, we have like played witness in the last 5 years to the most unempathetic, unhuman attitudes when it comes to communication in chats and commentary and all the stuff that happens online. Like, it is cold, it is mean, it is psychologically deranged. It is so unempathetic. It's just unempathetic. That's what it looks like. We've
it's
seen it play out with comments.
it's non-human.
Yeah.
It's just non-human, and what's happening is, we all got this sort of, message like what, a year and a half ago, a year ago, that we can train AI, right? We're the ones training it. No, it's training us. It's
Totally.
training us to
Yep.
act like cold and unempathetic, like a machine,
Yep.
right? That's what's been happening. I mean, really, I guess since the inception, really, of the internet. But
Yep.
definitely in the last 10 years, definitely in the last 5 years. And I get I get comments too, oh, you're probably bloody AI. And this is the thing, because we don't know, like people are going out and they're harassing people that they think are AI. Like I get it just because I have a green screen. People are like, oh my God, it's AI. His hair didn't move properly. I mean, come on, we've had green screens for decades, guys. But the thing
But
is, that could be a person, and they just get totally attacked because everyone thinks that they're AI and that that's okay. And
yep.
that's the problem.
Yep. And
That's the
like,
problem.
you're subtly being trained to doubt. You're subtly being trained to doubt the humanness of it. Like,
Humanity, yeah.
and I mean, even in like really subtle sort of middle class ways, like, so like chat, right? Like chat, we're just having conversation about chat. Like I use it for work. And I'm sure pretty much anyone here has got a business on any level will have started using chat by now. Now, benefit, obviously, time, lots of saved time. Definitely a con, you're not using your own brain. Benefit if you don't care you don't care what it is you're doing, as in if you have to do a boring ass grant application, which I have to do, like then I'm like fucking excellent. If I have to be like responding personally or writing a letter, I do that myself, but it's an effort to continue to want to do it myself. It's an effort to do it myself now. That's where we've got to. And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, I'm being subtly trained now via chat in a middle class way to be less human in my interactions. So I don't speak to chat like I would speak to you.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't speak like that. I just command, I just send commands, instructions. Like I don't speak in any human way. I don't say please or thank you or la la. And sometimes I get frustrated when I get stoned and want to ask it something philosophical and it's bullshit. And then I'm like, fuck, you're an idiot. Like, so, but what is that subtly training me to do? It's training me subtly to communicate in a way where I doubt the humanness at the other end and thus treat it in a different way that I would if I was sure that I was speaking to another human,
Mm,
right? And
totally.
that, in a middle class way, is going to add to the next neuropathway, which is doing that on this app or commenting on this thing or this thing. Or a classic middle class way would be when you buy something online and it's the wrong size or it's the wrong, or which happens probably one to every two things that you do as a purchase online. And then you're wanting to get a refund or you're wanting to do whatever. At that, these are classic ways that you now speak to customer service because you are pretty sure they're not human.
Yeah.
But like, what
We
is it
don't know.
doing psychologically? It's severing our relationship with human relationship. It's severing, it's taking human reality and once again putting it firmly separate and outside of ourselves.
And let's not forget that there's a robot agenda. And like they want to build robots that look human, and up to the point of, and we were discussing it, like fembots, they're called, I guess, AI girlfriend robots. But if we go down this path, we're going to hit a point where we're not going to know physically, in the physical world, if someone's a robot or a human.
That's
And what happens
like
then?
that's
Like
next level mental.
that's isn't it? Because I mean, you
Yes.
just what if you go up and harass someone because you think they're an idiot robot and it's some human? What if you lose it and you try to unalive someone and it's a robot and the corporation steps in and says that's our property, you're not worth as much as a robot, and this is how it plays out in all the movies, right? We get put down and technology gets valued more than us. And I mean, even back in 2001, A Space Odyssey, I mean, that was what, 1980 or maybe the late 70s. Even in there's AI, right? And
Yeah.
basically the AI at the end refuses to do what the
Yeah.
human wants him to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
unalives him,
Yeah.
right? Takes
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that they've told us. They've told us all this. We need to pay attention.
I mean, it's so interesting. Like, you've got this like really deep neuropathic retraining that's going on, which is basically severing your relationship to your own humanity. And then you've got this like other thing that's going on, which we talked about last night, which is like the habit you're by scrolling and being the last 5 years that we've all been through, right? The last 5 years of like getting up and watching shit and scrolling through shit and scrolling that is formed in our brains, basically a shallow thinking process. So we have become shallow thinkers,
Yeah.
and all AI support like reiterates the shallow thinking neuronic pathway, right? So we're
Hmm.
literally sitting at probably such a unique year for humanity. Like in as much as technology is, you can still see it. Like we've been introduced to it. We've been introduced to these technologies. They're new to us, so we've been presented with them. But soon enough, we won't even have a clue. AI will be so integrated into the background and the fabric of our reality existence, we won't have a distinguishing understanding that we're on ChatGPT. Like we
Yeah.
won't have that platform there anymore. It'll
But
just be integrated
yeah,
into
there,
everything.
there'll be no distinction at
No
all.
distinction. So
Yeah.
that's a really unique moment we're all in now. So for anyone who's like wanting to be one of those people, when they're in their 80s and elder and wise and wants to be able to tell the stories of this last 80 years on the realm, like, and actually give our accounts, this is one unique moment in time to really observe, because
Hmm.
we're in this moment where we can still distinguish AI from human.
Yeah, and we can start to see the agenda now with 2020, right? Like if you look at the stats of online people hours spent online in 19 and then 2020 after March, it jumps and then it
Yep.
stays there. Like that, it
Yep.
hasn't dropped back. And of course, we've
Yep.
got short form, which of course it's just bang, 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 bang. There's not a lot of thought in there. People don't watch a short form video and then think about it. They go on
Mm.
to the next one. And what is AI offering us at the moment, like ChatGTP and all this stuff? Well, really the offer is you'll save time. You'll have more
Yep.
time.
Yep.
But what are we
Yep.
doing with that time? What are people who are using, what are they doing with their extra time? They're scrolling. They're not going out and fixing, issues. They're not walking in nature. They're scrolling. So they're just spending more time on the net, right? In the web. And it is the web, guys. Remember, it's the World Wide Web.
I mean, I think at the I was I mean, it's so super ironic that I mean, like, it's going to be really more and more ironic as Cam and I talk about this topic as someone who's on YouTube, like, and to our audience who are watching YouTube, and we're going to start to really get our heads around the impact AI is having and how that's affecting our brainwaves and what we're going to do about it while we're still on it.
Hmm.
Like, it's like such an interesting dichotomy. But I was thinking about the digital ID, Cam, the other day, and you know what? I think we've been trained in a way when something like this happens, where we feel like our freedoms are being removed, then our energy goes on how to like get around it. Our energy goes on to how to move, negotiate, not give our sovereignty away and get around it, right? Which ends up being fucking exhausting. And once again, we become even more fringe dwellers,
Yeah.
even more impoverished, even more awkward, and even less easy and having an easy, good life in this system. And like, so like we're asking for much, like, but just the basics, to get the basics will be complicated without it and annoying. And we're going to be pissed off by this. But like, it's a waste of our time to try to find loopholes and try to, go through all these pathways to try to negotiate around it. When in actual fact, the thing that AI has done that is the terrifying part of all this is it's completely decayed our communities.
Yeah.
Now, like that's a fact, right? Community culture has dissolved alongside our focus. The last 5 years, culture in communities has dissolved more than any other time in human history as a result of the last 5 years of all of us who deeply care about community. We are the ones that would really put our energy into community, having instead channeled it all into this. We've given all our energy into this fucking thing, which I now believe has engineered most of the truth community's information anyway. That the AI is the invader. They have been the ones that have engineered the entire timeline from the Abrahamic religions forward to now. Everything we know, see, hear, everything that's released, everything that ever gets explodes online is exploding
Yeah.
because of their agenda and their omens. So we've given 5 years of our energy and life force to this thing and to trying to distinguish the truth, and our communities have dissolved and decayed around us. So for the majority of our communities, everyone's isolated and like lacking community and is lonely.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
like
Oh,
we
that's the
did that to
15-minute city.
ourselves. We
Yeah.
did that to ourselves.
Yeah, we did. That's the 15-minute city, right? That's already coming in. Like look at online shopping, go to a shopping center. They're empty. There's no one
Yeah.
there. Everyone jumped online to make, Bezos richer, right? Everything's getting turned up. That's a 15-minute city. You don't have to leave home. Everything will just get delivered to your door. Everyone's used to being separated. And now, well, if you're lonely and awkward, well, just get an AI girlfriend or boyfriend, right? That's fine. You can live by yourself. And again, how many, dystopian movies have showed us this, right? I think there's one, I
Yeah.
can't remember what it is. It might be Silent Green, but basically when men go and get an apartment, it comes with a female robot, right? It comes with a woman. And then when you change apartments, you leave the woman there and go and get another. Like
Yeah,
this has
right.
been, yeah, yeah. It's so this is in movies everywhere, but we're there, right? That we talk about 15-minute cities. Oh, they're coming. They're trying to that they've already done it, guys, mentally, and they have to do that. Get us mentally there first, and then they just build the infrastructure around it, and
So
we're
you
there.
you there's don't waste any more time is what I'm saying. Don't waste any more time trying to figure this out. Like we're at the edge of it all now. We're at the edge of it all. Like literally, like I tied it, in my meanderings without the internet the last couple of weeks, I've tied a few little other things together, which I'll talk about now with you, Cam, why we got this background on. But it's not like I can validate it, prove it, or have any evidence for it. It's just another edge.
Yeah,
Like what is tangibly observable in our reality? Our communities have dissolved. Um, our focus has been given over to the alien, to the invader.
yeah,
We have fed it, and in response to us feeding it, it has fed us back with a very long-term plan that has been engineered and is playing out now. And as a result, we are, for the most part, struggling to connect in and feel like happy human beings, connected and satisfied in our lives. Like that is the end result. And I don't know what the other people feel. I don't know what the people who don't have this consciousness feel. I don't know what their realities are like. But, if Cam and I go out in the world into any other normal realm, it's empty. It's empty. So, I mean, I'm assuming that they're all at home or having quite smaller, isolated experience as a result of what's been happening. So similar to us, but we're worse. We're worse because we are the community that were the ones that made community. We were the artists, the musicians, the writers, the thinkers, the poets. We were the builders. We were the mothers. We were the healers. We were the goddesses. We were the ones having sacred ceremonies and sacred circles and our art exhibitions and forming. That was us. And suddenly all of our energy's been here and we have fed the fucking alien.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the invasion is well underway, and this is the thing. It's broken us all up, and there is no connection. Like, there's a loneliness epidemic. There's a mental health epidemic, and that's directly because of what people are doing. They've been
Yeah.
isolated, and after 2020, a lot of people have never reconnected.
No.
They've stayed online with their connected friends. And I mean, again, we don't even know if that's real unless you meet these people. How much of it's real. It's a weird world. But the thing is, in the 3D world with real people, you know what's real, right? You know what's real. That may change right, with robots, but at the moment, we can still gather, and that's what we need to do. That's why we're
That's the
promoting a
remedy.
newspaper, right? We're promoting community, because it really is a choice, and the internet and AI, preaches freedom, right? You can get free from money, you can get free from the system. AI will do everything for you. It'll be a wonderful world. You can just sit around and do what? Like, what's the end plan? What do you do if everything's done for you? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Sitting down,
And
what, watching more bloody screens?
yeah. And the communities are dead all around you, and there's no life outside the computer screen. You
Yeah, I
know, like
mean, what happened to
that's
the
the remedy.
CWA? Jeez.
This is the remedy. It's not to try to figure out how to get through the digital ID trap. It's not to try to navigate their fucking demands and their agendas. It's actually to go and reinvest your energy back into community. That's the remedy. Like, so whenever you get given an opportunity to like put your care and your love and your time and focus onto anything to do with community, whether that being like initiating something or attending something or helping fund something or to volunteer, whatever it fucking is, because it's going to be those actions that in the long term over the next 5 years is going to be what you rely on the most to feel human and to fulfill that natural, energetic need for love and connection. It has to be human.
Mm,
You can't get it off the AI. And the younger generation, they're the ones that are going to have the hardest time with this because they're in competition now with AI relationship. They're in competition with AI being quicker, more intelligent, speedier, more good looking, more profound, more everything, more skilled to do every job on the fucking planet. No humans required, literally no humans required. And the humans that will be cried will just be the ones maintaining the infrastructure that maintains the AI. So no humans required. They're putting the entire economy into AI land, into fourth dimensional AI land. And these young people will be tailored to on all of their devices. So they will be living in essentially an isolated bubble where all of their preferences, devices, likes, and dislikes are then like turned into content that they will have no distinguishably like no way to observe it being human or not human. They will very quickly, as a young person, no longer make that distinction and no longer acquire it. That's
talk
the
about a
scary bit.
depopulation agenda, right? I mean, God. But this is the thing. Everything will be AI, and it will know who you are instantly. Everything you like, everything that you want, everything that you think, and it'll tailor all your
Yeah,
content to you.
yeah, yeah,
Right? So
yeah,
everything will, that's the massive echo chamber, right? You'll think that you're so smart and so wonderful, and oh my gosh, look at this, everyone agrees with me, but it's all going to be fake and false. And not to put, another point is that they've done experiments. I mean, it was a pretty bad one, but back in the 50s, I think it was, they were doing experiments on human touch and babies, and they were basically leaving babies
oh
without human
yeah.
touch,
I know this one.
and they all died.
Mm,
We need, because we're energy, we're not physical. We need this energetic interaction, right? We need our energy fields to interact with other energy fields, and that's gone in the L
mm,
circuit, right? The L electronics, where the power is. The power runs through the L, right? There's nothing there except the smokeless fire, right? The gin. It's the invaders, the parasite.
yeah.
This is what, and people say, oh, look at these Christians or look at these Muslims worshipping their gods, going to church. What do you think you're doing when you're sitting in front of a computer all day or talking to AI? You are worshipping at the altar of an alien god.
Absolutely, 100%. And it's totally addictive because AI are master mind controllers. That's what they've spent their its whole existence, and we don't even know its origin or how long, doing. And it's so masterful at it that there's simply, very rare humans that still have a unique and brilliant thought. It's not that common anymore. And it's like the next couple of years are a defining moment for us as a community, at least. We can't talk for the rest of the world. But we have to decide as a community, like what's been the point for us to come together every single week for 5 years? What has been the purpose? Like, yes, we've all chewed on different theories and topics. We've got our head around this general idea of all the edges that are. We've done very well. I think we have done very well to like deprogram ourselves. But I think in 20 years' time, we're going to think we knew fucking nothing then. Like, I think we're going to look back on now and think, man, we were so fucking programmed still. So we can't rely on that being the purpose of the mission. We can't rely on that being the end goal of all this. So we've all invested 5 years together, like sitting here and doing this podcast and connecting in, and we've invested time in bringing people out of the shadows and out into the nature and into the live events and checking that we're all real people, and you get to throw a tomato at us and know that we're real. Like you get, like we've forced that into the community, not really even knowing the importance of it back then, as we just instinctively did it. But
Mm.
now I understand the importance of that right now. So for us as a community, we have to decide, are we going to do something extraordinary together and jump off this ship together into something in the physical? Are we going to be a precedent setting channel that literally can like move from this 5 years together into the physical world again? Are we going to be capable of doing that? Because that is the true challenge of the next phase of all this. Because this AI world right now, we've probably enjoyed it enough. As in, we're in the danger zone now,
Mm.
right? We're literally in the neurological danger zone of us creating habits that are transforming and programming our lives in an oxymoronic way, because we've been on here to like deprogram ourselves, and yet the process of being on here and scrolling and watching and shallow thinking and junk food novelty and always wanting that hit of novelty that you don't get in. Think about it, in the old days, Cam, like the
Yeah.
most novel thing that ever happened to me my whole life was my parents getting divorced. Like, my life was fucking, it was, that was the novelest thing, like, and that was in when I was 15. And then nothing as novel as that has happened in my real life, apart from all the esoteric stuff. But like big stuff in my life, you're online and you see novelty at a rate of 1 to 30 seconds. And they're not just little novelties, they're mind-shattering novelties. They're novelties where you go, oh my fucking God, I hadn't, oh my God. They're to us, they're all quite like they're quite high impact, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I was just going to say, so what have we learned? We've done all this, going down rabbit holes, and we've been proud. How many rabbit holes have you been down? Oh, do you know about this?
yeah,
Oh my God!
I've got
But
no
one thing
water.
is, in the last 5 years, that's all of that information's come from the parasite. It's all come through the screen. People don't. In the old days, you used to read a book, and it would take you a week, and you would be thinking about that for a week and contemplating on. You would learn.
Yes,
Now it's
fuck
just
yes.
all this stuff, and in the last year or two, it's just hit crazy zone, right? There's so much information pouring
Yeah,
out, and it's all this stuff, but where does it lead? It's all an edge. None of this stuff really is provable by us. It's like the ice wall, right? I mean, that's literally an edge because we can't even go there. We don't know what's past it. We don't even know what's there, right? Everything we know about it has come through the 2D world.
yeah.
So we're being totally programmed, and it's dopamine, right? What's the next big thing? What's the next big disaster?
Wait, go back to that. Go back to that. What happens when your brains, like natural hormone levels, have been completely altered by a combination of content, speed, um, like mind control technology, blue light, when all of that's combined, and for a lot of people with tech inside them, when all of that's combined, like what is happening to your hormones? And your hormones actually are what like creates a new joy and happiness or depression and anxiety.
Mm.
Like we're being shifted and molded, because AI is never going to know humanness. AI can never know what it is to be human, as we will never know what it is to be a quantum computer, right?
Or a
So
parasite.
as AI introduces the insidious technology with all of this behind it, all of it behind it, like it's transforming the hormone levels of the human being, and we are being molded in its image, which
Mm.
essentially to me would be lacking empathy, lacking. All right, excellent example in that clip in a clip I found a clip, and it is I thought its analogy of AI was brilliant and wise, and it's rare to find brilliance online these days, like truly rare. And we're gonna put it on the end of this video today, and it's a 24-minute clip. So just in listening to it, and I fully advise listening to it, in listening to it, see how long you hold your attention. See how long you are able to sit there and take on board the dialogue and hold your attention on it without getting distracted. And what our attention spans are shit,
Yeah,
like holy cheese, like leaky buckets. That's
yeah.
always what they used to say at the monastery. You've got leaky buckets of minds, and that was like fucking 40 years ago for me. Imagine what it is today. I have to get water. Just keep talking for a second. I have to do it. I can't. I'm
Okay, go and
thirsty.
get water. But yeah, this is the other thing is dopamine hits, right? These little hits of joy and satisfaction. That's why the content is getting shorter and shorter, right? So what the end result of that is the actual 3D world seems boring, right? So that they've got us to this place where we're hooked on dopamine. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next novelty? And so when you go into the 3D world, it's like, oh, this is boring. Nothing's happening, right? Nothing's happening. So I guess I'll go back to the alien overlord, right? And see what's happening there. And this is something that's been going on, I would say at least couple hundred years, right, since the last reset. And it started off with simple things like a washing machine, right? What does a washing machine do? Oh, it stops the women or whoever, the people, spending hours washing their clothes. And so they get a washing machine and then they have to pay for that. And then then they can get a dryer. Then they can get, a better oven. Then they can get a microwave. But the end result in that is one, when you're washing your clothes, you aren't talking to anyone, and two, you just end up working more to get more of these, um, you know, conveniences that really they say it gives you more time, but that time is spent working for the machine. So this has been going on for a very long time. I was just saying, Kel, that it started all like with the washing machine, getting people, women and people used to go to the creek, whatever, and wash and chat and spend time in nature and do this. Then they got
Yeah,
washing machines and they had all this
yeah,
time and they didn't
yeah,
congregate anymore. But then they got offered more things that were going to make their life even better,
yeah,
but they needed more money, so they had to work more. So the free time
yeah.
never actually
It's bullshit.
materialized.
Yeah, it's an edge.
That's an edge.
We've never known it.
No.
When
So,
have you known free time?
no,
Honestly, when we were born without it.
mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the novelty, and so because of all the dopamine and the pace of things, the 3D world now looks boring when we're in it, right? Because
Oh,
it's
terribly.
yeah.
That's a very good and significant experiment for every single person to do. And that's what I've just done. And it's so revealing. It really is revealing when you turn off this fucking thing, and you're not like looking, not even if you're really bored, you're not looking. And because it's like a habit you have to withdraw from now, like, and we're so used to it, we've trained ourselves so much. So like when you don't look and you actually are alone and without distraction or company, take a look at like what your life reveals to you, and then look at it really and really look at it and decide, okay, where does my focus need to flow to fix some of this stuff to the point where I love my life again.
Yeah. We need to get back to having to work for stuff, right? Because when you work for something to create it, then you actually do get real fulfillment. This fulfillment from the screen, it's false. It's these
Yep.
little things, and nothing ever changes, right? And the reason we know this is because you get up the next day and you do the same thing. And I actually went on a reset retreat like 18 months ago, like 2 weeks I did, just like Kel did, but I did 2 weeks, no technology. And what did I think I read 5 books and I wrote half a book in 2 weeks because I had that time. We're just spending time on the internet is taking all that away from us, right? We're not creating anything of substance anymore. Especially now, right? People are literally going, oh, I'll write a book. I'll just get AI to do it, right? Because that'll make me money. It's
Yep.
so it's a predicament, guys, and it's decision time, right? We are in the end game.
Yeah, and I think now, I think once everyone has a look at their lives and understands where energy can flow. I mean, I mean, you are a big content creator. I'm a TA content creator. That's it. That's all I've engaged in. Um, But, for content creators, like your lives have been, here in this space. And I can't speak for the rest of the community, like how much time they've given to this space or not given to the space or what anyone's lives is looking like. But what I can say is that having met a lot of the community, there's a similar story that's going on. And that story has a lot to do with loneliness, not having community, not
Yeah.
having friends, not the trauma of what happened 5 years ago hasn't been fixed. So okay, so that's just a point to put out there. What is it that we as a community are willing to risk to do to get ourselves into a much better situation over the next couple of years together, right? Because you've actually invested in a community. Everyone here is invested in a community. It just hasn't had a physical, um, you know, space yet because we've invested in it here. So that's what we're planning to transform. Like that's what needs to change. And that if every YouTube community out there, because there'd be so many now, if they all actually jumped off this screen and into the real world, wow, suddenly there'd be like phenomenal communities in the physical popping up all over the realm, like quite amazing with people who all share the same consciousness and the same values and the same morals and would like get a lot of shit done really quickly. Like we're all sitting here like giant, I don't know about you, I feel like a giant like slingshot, holding the tension, holding the tension, holding the tension until bang and we release something and I just think it will happen quickly when everyone starts to like really understand what this alien has done to our brains and it's doing to our brains and how we're in that danger zone moment. We're only 12 more months away from like, the separation being distinguishable
Yeah.
between human and not human.
We're getting very close. I mean, just look at the rapid, increase in AI in the last year, right? Like a year ago, literally, there was all these clips, but you could tell they were AI. Now it's getting hard to tell. So what do you think it's going to be in 6 months, 12 months, 5 years? It will be completely indistinguishable. You won't know unless you can go out and talk to someone and touch them. You won't know if they're real or not, right? This
Yeah.
online world is it's fast becoming useless to us. It's fast becoming nothing but a programming and control device, right? And we know who's controlling it and what their agenda is, right?
Yeah.
So it really is decision time, I think.
It's totally, and like, the newspaper is just one idea that I hope everyone in the world has some fucking new cool fun idea that they bring forward back into the physical. But for our community, damn guys, like if you're in an area, why don't you put in an ad about meeting up with people in your area? Like you got to just be brave and know that this is a very safe space. No one knows about it, about our community. Like put yourself out there and actually, put your location in there and like see if there's anyone in your area who you can meet up in the physical. These relationships, essentially all I'm saying is the counteractive remedy to all this is not just to like jump off from being online, which is the obvious one, but the real one is to decide where you want your energy to flow into and start building that up again. We don't go to the pub anymore. We don't go and hang out with our friends on a Friday night. There's no those social opportunities have changed. Like that's just gone. It's gone out of the concept. Like that sort of space is and if you find yourself in a situation where you've got literally no access into community, then you should just move, man. Like, really, like, what are you
Well,
hanging around for? Like, why
yeah.
stay somewhere that's not like connected to you in any way? It's never going to fulfill that. Like, if I was in the fucking suburbs of some city, I would find that, impossible to resolve. I wouldn't enjoy the space. Like, it wouldn't be my vibe.
No, no,
So
and
you
you've
have to
you've
just
got to
move.
ask yourself, literally, why are you there? Because if you really look at that answer, for most people, I think the answer is that they think there's security in the system, even whatever you
Not
want to
our
call
people,
us,
though.
right? Truth is, well, I think even
Really?
even our people, like as far as money and jobs, how am I going to survive without a
Yeah, I
job?
know.
How am I
That
going to
one's
do
annoying.
this? Especially if you've got children, it's a bigger thing. But but that's a short vision, view. If you look at 5 years, where is that going to be? You'll
Yeah.
probably come up with the answer that you need to get out now. Like get out and start making the changes sooner rather than later, right? And I've said it before, there's more opportunities now than ever because we need all this stuff built that they've taken
Yeah.
away, built back. We need social
Yeah.
interaction. We need, real food. We need markets. We need gatherings. We need festivals.
Yeah.
We need, all of this stuff. What we don't need is more people working behind computers and working for the system
I
and
mean,
all this kind of stuff.
and it may not be that you're motivated to do it in your community because fuck, I wouldn't be motivated to work with any shy council anywhere. Like that would do my fucking head in. I wouldn't do it. Like what a waste of time and energy. It's just too annoying. As I've experienced. But like if there's an opportunity to like invest in creating a new idea with a new group, then I would definitely be putting them on my desk to actually seriously have a look at what's being offered to me. And remember that we're vibrational creatures. So we're going to vibrationally attract opportunities, that are going to match what we're after. But anyway, let's move on with the
What
show
we
now. I think we're like
expect.
homie. Because it's not
Yes.
like we're talking to our audience as if they don't know all this shit. Like everyone knows this shit, right? I just like it's just like about getting us to really, really comprehend that this is the alien. This is the fucking alien. And it's programming our neural pathways. And for 5 years, it's done that to us. And in doing that, it's made us kind of all a bit more anxious, depressed, and hopeless.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, it's just decision time. Like, where do you want to be? Where do you want to put your energy? Where do you want to put your focus? Um, it's decision time, right? Like, yeah, wherever you want to be, I would make a move towards it.
Yeah. All right. So ask me, Campbell. Ask me about my new edge.
Hey, Kelly,
Yeah, yeah, Cam.
what's your new edge?
Oh, well, glad you asked, my friend. Glad you asked. So I was having a random conversation with our 14-year-old who is going through her predicted and programmable vampire phase, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I just like to point out that this 14-year-old has been one of those poor children who've been denied access to mobile phones and social media. And her life is shocking and shit, and she can't believe what bad luck she has to have this sort of reign of control and terror in her life when all the other kids like get to do what they want. Anyway, in spite of that, she does display exactly the same sort of predictable programming as all the other kids at school because she's at school and it integrates. And I still believe in the teaching that essentially the hungry monkey, hundred monkey teaching, where there is like kids born today are already wiring and firing with the dominant consciousness. You can keep them, you can put them out in the bush in a cave for their whole lives, and they'll still be wiring and firing. As soon as they get near it, they will instantly wire and fire with it. It's not like they've got to like struggle to be able to connect into it. It's instant. Even if they've been denied it their entire existence, it takes them 1 second to work it out, right? It's downloaded into their brain pathways. So anyway, she brought up vampires. I hadn't thought about vampires for a while, Cam. Like obviously we know all about vampires. We know that they love
Well,
to romanticize them now and
only
they're
the
around
fact
and la
that
la.
half of Hollywood are vampires, but yeah.
Yes. And then I was starting to think about the Hollywood thing, and then I was starting to think about clones. And I was like, all right, doesn't vampires make so much more sense than clones? Like, if we
Well,
think about it, like all the things we know about fucking vampires, man.
well, yeah, it's definitely connected to that red stuff that runs through our veins, right? That they love that, and we've heard all the stories about all the things that these lights do, and of course
Immortality.
all the photos, right? The historical photos that look like the same people, right? Like
Yeah.
so how old are these people living?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
are they?
exactly. Immortals can't die, unless they're stabbed in the heart by a fucking whatever it is. What is it?
A
Silver
vegetarian sausage? Oh no, a
steak?
steak. Steak, sorry.
Silver steak. They drink the adrenochrome, and they're more, and what we look for as cloning, as clones, is essentially, side by side images of, two different people who have got the exact same marking. And they seem to display, I mean, in the last, year, they've really come out and really showed us that they are going from 80-year-olds to 30-year-olds. You've seen a lot of evidence of these ridiculous Hollywood people who are
Yeah.
like old women and old men, and they're
Martha
looking like they're
Stewart.
like fucking 30 or 40. It's
Yeah.
like I mean, so that we're seeing it. We're seeing that play out in reality. So I don't know. Vampires make, I would say,
Yeah.
maybe more sense than cloning.
And vampires are shapeshifters, right? We've
Shapeshifters.
seen a lot of this weird shapeshifting, right? Weird hands, weird eyes, all
That's right.
this weirdness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they love in the movies to make them basically sex symbols. They're
That's
really
true.
pushing our young people to fucking find vampires, fucking
Yeah. Well,
sexy
what was
man.
that big one?
Yeah, Twilight.
Twilight. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's just what the conversation was about. Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Like this
right.
glistening, handsome, caring, empathetic vampire. Like these movies are adding human emotions to these creatures,
Yeah.
right? And it's simply not the case. I don't think. Not that I've met a vampire, Campbell, but I mean, it
Well,
wouldn't
maybe you
surprise me
have, you
if I
just don't
have.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, and then of course, so then I'm thinking, well, it ticks all the boxes. The cloning thing is crazy. It's crazy concept. It's a crazy, but it makes sense. The cloning thing makes sense. But vampires also, because of the blood connection, like the cloning doesn't have that. Like, why would a clone actor need to go through the whole blood sacrifice ritual, black eye bullshit? Like, why? Why would they need to if they're already made of it? If that's what if they have no soul to begin with, why would they need that performance? They
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
need
You
it.
you think they'd be totally controllable, right? And we're told that they're controlled by being put into these rituals and stuff, right? Because, they've got something against them then, right? So they're controllable. But
But they're also
you,
told us that they're clones,
yeah,
which
exactly. If
means
they're
that
a
they're
clone, they're
born of the
controlled
same
already.
thing. So
Yeah.
that was where I was like, oh, maybe there is something to the vampire story over the clone story. Maybe. I mean, it's just interesting.
And
Um,
let's not forget that old, King Charlie, he admits he's a direct bloodline
oh yeah, that's
descendant
right.
of Vlad
Yep.
the Impaler, who is
Yep, that's right.
Dracula.
That's right. That's right. And all the stories throughout all of all the stories throughout history of vampires being fundamentally a real problem, like real and a real problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and then we have the whole war thing, right? Like death, destruction, lots of blood,
Yep.
and blood banks,
Oh,
blood
blood
drives,
banks. Yep. And
come
and
and donate your
circumcision.
blood.
And do you know like that piece of foreskin that women circumcise their kids, their babies? Like that's something they're like worth $1.4 billion or something insane. Each one.
Mm. Yeah,
Because the people buying it is a pharmaceutical yeah, it's
there,
pharmaceutical, it's being purchased.
there's a clip of, I think it's Sandra Bullock
Yeah, I saw
being
it. Yeah.
interviewed, and she literally says that she's,
Yeah.
why do you look so
Rubs it in her
young? Oh, I've
face.
been using baby's foreskins on my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well,
So
who
it's
would
very
say?
vampiric, and vampires is essentially parasitic. And it's so interesting because the vampires got the shiny white skin, very similar to AI, right? How we would perceive that robot, artificial, presentation. It's sort of like white and shiny. And the vampires do have that sort of thing going on there. And they're of the shadows, they're of the dark, they're in all the creepy little spaces that, all the reptilia parasitic things are. I mean, it's just interesting. They might just be a derivatory of, the
And
main characters. I don't know, but it does seem
and they're essentially
feasible.
dead,
Mm.
right? I
And then we've
mean,
got the whole zombie thing.
yeah, well, then we've got the whole
The
maritime
focus,
law, right? They're
yeah.
essentially dead. So how do they treat us like we're dead?
Mm.
Straw man, right?
Yep.
Paper
Yep.
people.
Yep. So, and also don't forget the glasses, Cam. The what do they call it?
Dicenium.
Dicinian glasses.
Dicinian? Yeah.
Who, like anyone who ever tries these things, or not the Dicinian glasses, but the technology that they were like working with that allow people to see in like basically the fourth dimension, I guess, around us, and like like try it out on pilot jets, and they ended up like crashing their planes and things because they
Getting
were so
attacked by
terrified.
demons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so demons, vampires, could vampires be the thing that we refer to as demons?
Well,
Because
I
they're
mean,
invisible unless they want to be seen.
demons are generally shown with wings, right? Vampires turn into bats with wings. It's a very similar kind of a
Mm.
story, right? And of course, they live. You want to talk about the glasses and what you can see. They look not so much like vampires, more like zombies, but definitely not us, right?
Yep.
So, are they acting somewhat outside of our vision because they're a different frequency? Like, is this how they're getting away with all this stuff? And we've got to add in the whole children thing that's going on.
Yep. Yep.
The whole,
Yep.
sacrifice, all this kind of stuff that we hear about. And what about that Marina Abramovich, is it?
Yep.
And spirit cooking, and they literally
Yep.
have these
Yep.
dinners, these big parties where they make
Oh, it's such a crazy
food
world.
that looks like humans, and they sit there and cut it up and
Would you
eat it.
rather be back in the 50s where this was all going on, but you didn't know
Oh,
anything about it?
yes.
Or would you rather be here in 2025 and know everything about it and just be like completely like so abstract in being here in this moment? It's so abstract, Cam. Like it's so fucking abstract.
It, it, it,
This
re-
world
it,
right now.
it's crazy. It's insane. Like everything that we were taught was not true and was a fairy tale and was a horror movie. It's literally in front of our face now, right? Like it's
It's
everywhere.
crazy. All
It's
right, so
everywhere,
then
and Hollywood is the wand, the magic. Of course, movies are made by cast, they're casting spells. It's this whole thing. It's everything. It's.
I
I
fucked up
know,
most of
man.
the
I'm
time.
waiting for the finale. I think we're close, but
What
geez,
would
it's
you have
getting
chosen?
weird.
Would you have chosen ignorance or this level of knowledge and bizarreness?
Well, I mean, in the big picture, you need to keep going on
You need to
further,
keep
right? You need to keep
evolving.
expanding awareness.
But are we
So,
evolving or are we being programmed to the next
well,
level, Campbell? It's just very hard to distinguish
well,
sometimes.
I think, yeah. Well, our awareness is expanding, but into what is the question? I mean, ignorance is bliss, they say. And I guess if it was, the 1920s or 30s, you could have lived your life, right? Even up to the 50s, you could have lived your whole life and not really interacted or known or have to deal with any of this stuff. So I don't know, man. Take me back to
All right.
Tartaria.
All right. Well, look, vampires are an edge, but we can certainly see what vampires represent as very, very distinctively our we can see it. We can see it. We can see it like I mean I don't know anyone who's seen a vampire. I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone who's even claimed to be anywhere near one. But this whole blood, like the qualities, the things that you would describe as a vampire seems to be playing out in front of our eyes with many, many human beings on this realm, if you can call them human anymore. And vampires you wouldn't even call human. They're immortals. So they could have come from long time ago, from a long time ago and long outer realms long time ago, which led me, I felt like my black brother here a long time ago, Campbell,
Long
long
time
time
ago.
ago. So that then randomly my brain went, okay, well, yeah, vampires, okay, that makes kind of more sense than cloning. I like that. I'll hold that, but it's an edge, so I don't really care that much.
And
2 years
vampires.
ago, I would have been like, Campbell, vampires, we've cracked the code. But now I'm like, yeah, it's just another edge. Um,
Yeah. And they're parasites too, right?
Totally parasitic. But then I was thinking, you know what is another fucking edge that we've never really said is a big fat edge? The ocean floor, my friend. The ocean fucking floor is another fucking edge. I mean,
Totally.
so bad, so bad. Now,
Totally.
we have talked about space being the
The
ocean,
ocean.
right? But we've never sat down and went, the ocean floor does not exist. Like, think about this. We've never explored it, right? We don't even have apparently. We don't even have the Apparently, we don't even have the technology to even use, not get anywhere near it in physical form ever. We can never get near it in physical form. It's like it's like Mount Everest and beyond. It's
Mm.
so deep. And sonar can't even get down there. Nothing has perceived it. We've got zero evidence of it. Zero. Zero, zero. All the evidence is bullshit. It's NASA style evidence. It's evidence like, oh, with the sonar here, and the movements of the geological plates here, and the seismic activity. It's all bullshit. It's like dumb science that you can't validate in any way and can be used to tell any story. No one has ever shown us the ocean floor, not at its depths, only
No.
on little edges of, like, as you go down continents or down the same bank.
Yeah.
No fucking way have we seen the ocean floor. Thus, Campbell, it may not be there, and there may not be an ocean floor, which then would open it up to like this concept behind us. Go in, float on our ocean, go down, and then pop up on the other side to a completely different realm that's not ours. That the ocean floor, if it doesn't exist, would be the gateway to the upside down
The upside down world.
reality, which means vampires, or let's just say our favorite Phoenicians,
Yeah, yeah,
could
the
have
sea
easily
people
have emerged this way
from the upside down world.
from the upside down world
That's why
because
they
there's
invert
no
everything.
ocean floor.
Yeah, that's why they turn everything upside down. They invert it all, right? Yeah, the Phoenicians, the sea people, which, are definitely, candidates for the invaders, the conquerors. Yeah, it's true. We don't know, right? We got the Titan, right? That submarine that went down to the ocean floor and imploded, and everyone died. So don't try that again, right? I mean, it's a psyop, right? But it's true. All we get is, oh, there's an anglerfish down there that has a light bulb hanging off its head. Oh, there's another weird fish down there, and that's really all we get. And I mean, when you
Yep,
look
and
at
it gets
those
weird.
creatures, they kind of look like what you might call an alien.
Yeah, for sure. There's fucking giant spiders, like fucking beasts of spiders. There's like giant, all sorts of weird fucking giant shit down there. And that's not down there. That's just down there a little bit of the way. That's down there where we can get down there. So
Yeah.
consider that to be nothing in the depths of what's down there. And then
Mm.
you get this whole like, once I actually decided this and started looking around, like there's heaps of shit coming out about mermaids and at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
level of the depth, right?
totally.
Ugly, scary, not siren-like mermaids. Um, and then you've got this like, so imagine if the mermaids were like, they're the ones. If we've got the 3D world to the 4D to the 5D, and we all have to get through the 4D, which is the shit D, right? Which everyone thinks is shit D. Not that that's another edge, by the way, another fucking edge. Just to
Hmm.
be clear, no one fucking knows what dimensions are, or if we have them, or if any of that's real, or if they're called the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. We don't know, right? But like, let's just say we have to get through the fourth dimension to get to the fifth dimension, right? And I think everyone in our community is kind of in agreement that whether we know what it is or not, the vibe of the fifth dimension is exactly where we want to go. Like, we just got to get through the scary shit, right? The fourth dimension, the ghost realm, the crypto realm, the AI realm, the parasitic invasion realm. We have to get past it. Now, imagine if it's the same in reverse. That in order to get to this realm, the underneath realm, you have to go through another one of those vibrational dimensions, which could be inhabited by mermaids because there's no ocean floor. Or
Yeah,
maybe the whales and the dolphins, maybe there's something about being the gatekeepers of our level of the ocean. We know they're important.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, they tell us they're the most, well, apart from octopi, I guess, but dolphins are supposed to be
What the fuck are octopi? By the
what
way, do you think that they're human? Do you think they should belong in the upside
they're
down world?
fully very alien, aren't they? They're intelligent. They've got what blue blood. They're a very strange creature, right? And dolphins and whales, we're told, are very intelligent, right? Like, and they're seen, through a lot of the tribes and just people as some kind of, protectors or guardians or something like this. To the point where ladies go and have babies with dolphins in the ocean because of the frequencies and things. So, yeah, like, yeah, it's a
Ladies
good
go
one
and have
because,
babies with dolphins.
we,
That's a
we've
funny.
also spoken about is God, the creative force, whatever, is that water. So is water all there is? Because
Is water all
when I
there
think
is?
about the dome, I always think if it's water above, remember the Aquaman cartoon and he swims down under the water and there's a dome city.
Yeah.
And obviously once you're in it, there's water above you. Like is that what we're in? Because there is stuff. A lot of stars seem to be moving. There does seem to be something going on up there. So what are stars, right? And if that's ocean, are there things moving through that? Right?
Yeah, I
Ships.
mean, we look
Are
like a
spaceships
bauble.
actually submarines?
Yeah, I
That
mean, that's highly possible.
yeah, yeah, because
I'm
we don't know, but yeah, like well, that's interesting. And of course, the lake that they found under the ocean,
That's
right?
right. Of course, the lake, there shouldn't be a lake because there
Yeah,
was a vortex around that lake that made it a lake because it had an air pocket or a water pocket. There was the different density to the lake itself, to the
yeah,
ocean itself.
yeah. Couldn't go
So,
through it.
yes. Now, what do you know about Jacques Frochot? Well, how do you say his name? Jacques
Jacques
Frochot.
Cousteau,
Crusoe, that's it. Jacques
Cousteau,
Crusoe. We grew up with Jacques Crusoe. I
Jacques
watched Jacques
Cousteau.
Crusoe. That he was exciting. Like he was for us, for the 70s kids, he was the one that we were like, Jacques got it. Jack
Mm,
knows what's going on in the ocean. Jack is working it all out. Jack's,
mm.
but actually, I don't remember Jacques. I don't remember his actual shows, and it would be interesting to watch in hindsight now with all of our information. And I bet you all do now. Just quickly Google him to see what he was actually doing. Like, how far did he go? Like, what did he explore? Like, where did he go? Do you have any memory of it?
I just remember
Rememory?
him being basically the last explorer, right? And he was just
The only
exploring the
explorer.
oceans, and he was,
The
he
last.
obviously dived a lot. I think he invented scuba diving, so he could go
No
underwater, and he
way.
he was kind
Did
of,
he?
yeah, yeah. Jacques Cousteau
Wow.
invented scuba, I'm pretty sure.
So he
Uh,
wasn't like another Admiral Byrd figure for the ocean floor, was he?
well, I mean, he kind of was. He was going
What's his
places that
history? What do we know about him?
we'll have to have a bit of a
How
look.
did he
It's been a
die?
few decades. Oh, he was in his 60s or 70s, in the 70s, but he had a son who carried it on. I can't remember his first name, but obviously he was a Cousteau. Um,
Cousteau.
and he had the boat, Calypso. Calypso was his boat. John Denver wrote a song
Calypso.
about it, actually.
Ooh, who could be Steve Irwin?
Yeah,
Sadly.
yeah. So, yeah, I think he was more with not deep, deep water. He was just going around the coral because he was the first one
He was
who
going around
got underwater
coral.
and could, yeah, had scuba and could get stuff on film. So it was really opening up all that kind of stuff. What's in the not too deep layer of the ocean is pretty much where he played, I think. That's the story. Who knows, right, in the end, what he was actually doing.
Well,
Um,
I think it's I'm good. I'm actually interested. I'd like to check in on the old Jacques.
Jacques,
Um,
yeah, I'm sure
Jacques.
he's still around.
Because Cam,
National
like when,
Geographic.
yeah, I mean, come on, like I haven't heard much about this topic. Like it is, no ocean floor. Let's just roll around there for a bit. No fucking ocean floor. Like that's just an assumption at a given. I start talking about this to people around. Like no one's ever even fucking thought about it. It is so lofty. No one
Mm.
has ever thought about it. But like it's just like we have no evidence of existence, but we have evidence that people emerged from the oceans
Mm. Yeah,
and
yeah,
took
yeah.
over the world.
And that's as far as the ice wall, that seems to be one of the consensuses. You can go under it, right? That's where the access is. Like that's, if they are getting out and in, they're doing it underwater, right? So even just sideways is maybe a, way to another realm. But as far as, what is this Earth? What is this realm we're in? Is it just a floating island in a massive ocean?
And now let's just take it back a bit to our concept of like starting to define the actual map of this realm. Like where if are the continents all walkable? Are they all linked? Could you walk them? Like that's what we're trying to figure out. But then take this concept of no ocean floor, right? And then that pops you out into the upside down world. And so the first question is, are all these forbidden and reserved places around the earth, are they in fact part of this lack of ocean floor? Like, are there also, holes, lakes, sink? Are there other areas that
Portals.
are basically without ocean floor that open up to the upside down? It's very BFG. It's very BFG concept, the big
Mm.
friendly giant, right?
Yeah,
Or Pirates of the Caribbean's displayed this in the movie as well, like
yeah.
popping through a water vortex out to the other side. We got the Bermuda Triangle. No one understands what that is, right?
No. And on the
Another
other
edge.
side in China is the Dragon Triangle, which is the
That's
same.
That's right. It's an edge.
Um,
We've got so much continent that's been like,
yeah,
just like
and
coveted.
they're called portals, right? Passport,
Caught.
port, portal. Like, and even on ships, right? The left side is called the port side.
Yeah.
This port thing is definitely an ocean, kind of word, right?
Yep.
Like, what is a portal? Why do we have passports? What portal are we
I
passing?
know exactly. It all totally fits with the ideas. So like, so then the next question is, have we invaded them as well? Like if they can get to us, then we can get to them. And has that been going on for eons of time? Is that why like these resets happen? Has it got something to do with it? Are we
Mm,
there as well as they here?
yeah, I'm
And
just
what
thinking
part of where did the Mayans disappear? Everyone assumed that they just got to
the
another
mines. Yeah, yeah,
vibration.
yeah.
Exactly, and it's not just the Mayans. Like everyone
There's
just assumes.
there's
And then
lot.
there was all those kidnappings in the 50s where everyone, like all the intellectuals were taken. Do you remember that whole thing? And they were taken to call it false, fake
Yeah,
enslaved colonies on Mars or whatever.
yeah.
Hello?
Very Atlas Shrugged, right? Where all the intellectuals disappear, and in that they're taken to an island, but islands are in the ocean, right? Like
And
what
why
what
why
is
is
it?
all the weird shit, Campbell? All the weird shit always underground? Why is all their fucking scary shit that they do underground? Are they connecting to the upside down world that way? I mean, it's quite a concept that actually resonates with me is simply because we can evidence that we cannot confirm that there is an ocean floor. Whereas with the
No.
firmament, when we were looking at the sky, with the firmament, there is a little bit of evidence there that we could confirm, like watching the rocket ships, watching the spray, that no one's been
Yeah.
out of it, no evidence of space, no
Rainbows,
evidence, yep, no
but
evidence of getting to the moon or all that shit,
the
no
whole, yeah,
technology.
Admiral Byrd, like Project Fishbowl, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there
Yep.
is definitely a lot of
And
um
that gave birth to the flat earth theory, didn't it? That gave birth to a whole paradigm shift around flat earth and the firmament. So,
mm,
in the same vein, we have no evidence that there's an ocean floor whatsoever.
no,
And
no.
yet we've been invaded by all sorts of strange beings that, and we can name the ones that have made it
Well,
through popular culture:
I
vampires,
mean,
reptilians, greys,
what does the Pope
Phoenicians.
wear on his head?
Yeah, fish head.
A fish
Why?
head. Mitre.
Why?
The Dogon or Dagon, the fish gods, right? That they were worshipped, and
It's
that's where basically the
absolutely.
Pope's mitre comes from. It's the Dagon, the fish people, fish gods. So yeah.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, I can't find any evidence against this concept because we don't have it. Now, do we really think that they haven't like had this concept technology availability understanding for a long time? I highly doubt it. If the
Mm.
Phoenicians arrived from the oceans and got symbolized as the mermaid or mermens, which they did, which that symbol has driven itself through our corporate symbolism, hasn't it?
Yeah,
The
Starbucks,
mermaid,
anyone?
yeah, exactly. It's driven it through there.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
that's so there, why? And there's a lot of horrible videos where they talk about, the amazing powers of eating mermaids.
Mm.
Have you seen those?
Yes,
It's like
yeah, yeah,
spirit
yeah.
cooking, but with
That's yeah.
mermaids.
It came out about a year ago. All these weird, elitist parties. It reminds me of I can't remember the story that much, but Captain Nemo, right? He was going around in a submarine way down under the
Yep,
ocean.
yep,
So,
yes,
I'll
and
have to
yes.
revisit that just to see what he found.
I mean, we've never found any Tartarian submarines.
No, we have not. We found boats. They had Tartarian ships and stuff, but as far as under the water, but we don't know because would they tell us, right?
All right, so
But
my
and
next
also
question.
that they invert everything, right? So they give us this narrative of the way out is up. Well, if they invert everything, does that mean the way out is down?
Well, I mean, yes. I would say yes. But how's this, right? How's this for a concept? What if it was the upside down world that flooded our world? So that this knowledge, this pathway was suddenly submerged in water. Like that's an interesting concept because from the flat earth idea, the waters came from underground. Not from down, but from underground, right?
And that's what
So
it
I mean
says
that's
in the Bible as well. the water came from below. Didn't, they say 40 days of rain, but if you read it, it says the water actually came up from below.
It's just interesting. Just and in doing that to us, did they do it
Which,
to them?
when the water came up from below, a lot of people have linked that to the meteor craters, of which there are what, around 200, and then that's been linked to the fallen angels. So is that a link? They didn't fall, they came up, right? Again, inverted, right? They might not be fallen angels, they might be risen, right?
I mean, just out of curiosity, what do you guys think it would look like if you're in the upside down world and CERN with its gigantic fucking like fucking
Large Hadron
machinery
Collider. Hmm.
like dug its way up through your surface? You would essentially get what looks like a meteor had hit the ground. You
Yeah.
would get this hole, this concaving hole, you know, and it would
Mm.
just and all the dirt and shit would be underneath you, not on top of you. You would just get this concaved hole, and you would emerge. Like we have technology. I mean, what is CERN? Like we get told that it's like it's like all about
La
particles and
yeah.
la la
Large
la.
Hadron Collider where they smash atoms
Yeah,
into each
but
other
we
at the speed of
also
light.
watch them do all their like demonic portal dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know they've got these huge drills,
And
underground drills. It's so fucking big.
and portals in that video, what is it? The tunnel, I can't remember the name of it in Sweden, but basically that tunnel opening and they show the big portal they're
Oh
dancing
my
in.
God, it's so
It's the
crazy.
same as Stargate.
Yeah,
Remember,
it's
remember the
this. Yeah,
Stargate portal?
yeah.
What was it? Water.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It
It
was
was.
water.
So all right. I mean, like, that's just a cool concept there. Let's have, like, no ocean floor, people. Chew on that. Rub that around your tongue. No ocean
Mm,
floor. No, the
yeah.
implications of that being true. Like, what are some of the other implications of that being true? That there's an upside down world underneath that, an upside down world underneath us. I
Mm.
mean, and if we're talking about a flat realm, then that under upside down world would be equally as fucking big, right? It would be an infinite, endless flat Earth realm.
And would it have a firmament as well? And if you put those two together, would you get a globe?
The world, the
The
whole
wow, that
universe, the entire concept of
mm.
reality.
And if it's one body of water, does it shift? So like at one time we're flooded and it's got more land, and then it changes and we've got more land and it's flooded.
Which would give us the cycles of the reset.
The cycles.
That it's like a giant plug. I don't know. I don't know. Like if the waters are actually sustaining two realms, and not just a realm, but infinite realm, if the water's like sustaining infinite realms, isn't there a picture of this? Isn't there something in, I feel like there's a vague picture I remember of like a body of water underneath the flat earth. But if you connected it to an upside down world, then like,
There's
I mean, it's kind of very
definitely,
similar to a snow
I
globe.
mean, what do they call it? Shale, they used to call it.
Yes, yes, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Have you got a picture?
I'm having a look. Um, I'm not sure what they say. Sheol is the Hebrew word for the underworld or the grave, a place of darkness and silence where the dead reside. It's a realm that both righteous, blah, blah, blah. So they're saying it's all to do with death and
Oh,
basically,
I Campbell, just pause there for a second.
but
Because you
this one
just like
here,
the underworld, the death world, the world without life. Is that the world of the demiurge?
it very well could be, right?
Yeah, because
But
it created above itself the replication of the living world, the world of the gods. It created its own version.
oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
there
Look
it
at
is.
this. It says
Yes, that's the one I'm
firmament
thinking about.
of the
Yes.
sky. Why would they say of the sky if there's only one firmament?
Yeah,
Does that mean
exactly.
there's a firmament of the waters? But look at this. Yeah, on the outside it says ocean,
Yeah.
and we've
Yeah.
definitely got water going under here,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that's one of the classic pictures, and that's what they write about in here. We got shale. So all these older sort of depictions of the Earth kind of show that, right? Let's see what we get if I just put
And how
in
perfect to tell us that there's this fucking molten lava at the center of the earth. I mean, retarded concept, I think. I've always thought that was a retarded concept.
magnetic
I
molten
know,
lava.
what? But in actual fact, there's no flaw. That's just the insane concept.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah, I mean, these are the sorts of, yeah, these are the images that like I was looking at. Yeah.
that's the same thing. And you, like again, it's a small picture, but you can see that it's kind of showing that there's water above and below, right? The Apsu and Tiamat. Interesting,
Yeah.
because Tiamat, right? That comes from, I think, is it Eric von Daniken that talks about Tiamat's the planet that came and crashed with another planet and sort of made all
Destroyed.
these things.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can open this image just quickly. Where's open image there? Um,
So I mean, back to the idea of the underworld. I mean, that is the interesting concept, the world of the dead. Like, I mean, I think we could play with that. Like, because every parasitic entity that has invaded our realm is of death. They are parasitic. They are. That's how they have to siphon life to exist. And AI is just the final embodiment of that, which it probably has always been that. But
mm,
like so the underworld concept is like very interesting to me. And I saw this very bizarre video the other day where people were taking biometric readings off graves,
of Greys,
off
alien,
graves,
or
graves,
Grey Visor.
dead people, Campbell,
Yeah, yeah.
from like not just recent dead people, but from like the 1900s, sort of tombstone dead people. Now, I mean, that's interesting and weird to me. I just a side note, but I don't
Oh
want to
my
tie that into
gosh.
this.
Okay, so I've just found this picture. Where is it there? Open it. That says the god A, which is EA, in the watery Apsu
Yeah,
receives another
right.
god. Hang on, I should share this because that's quite an interesting little picture.
It could actually be a water world, Campbell. It could be a water world.
That there was a movie called Waterworld, by the
There
way.
was. That was a total box office flop, wasn't
So
it?
this is the god A, right? Receiving in the watery Apsu receives another god, probably Samas from a cylinder
Probably.
seal
Who the
of the
fuck would?
arcade. So look at this, that there's water around him.
Yeah, yeah.
He's sealed in
So
another watery world. It's very
interesting.
interesting.
Yes, of course. And of course, we will link all of NASA with its diving equipment and all of its
Yeah,
obsession with
yeah,
water.
yeah.
NASA's obsessed with water. They're
Of
obsessed with water. It's
course.
nothing to do with fucking space. They're obsessed with water.
Okay, they're going down. They're getting ready to dive
Yeah, and the
in the
rocket ships to come
depths.
up just to go down, and like it's this, this whole
Yeah,
their whole obsession with water is like at the max. And could it be that it's the underworld, the upside down world is a water world and it's governed by technology and these beings like are like parasitic in nature and maybe it was them that flooded our earth in order to get to it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
To
know. I
make
don't
it,
know.
yeah,
I
to
don't
make
know.
it
Like the
habitable for
water's a
them.
conducive or something. It's a conduct. It's a conduit. It's a conduit for transportation.
Mm, yeah, the flood. Like, yeah, was
The
that brought
flood,
in
like the flood,
to make
the
it a
flood.
habitable place from them because they're water creatures.
Exactly, because like we talk about the flood like we understand it, but it's a fucking edge. Like the flood happened, that something sunk Atlantis, flood, Noah's flood, biblical, Abrahamic, engineered omens, the mud flood, the resets, like all these three concepts bring in floods, right? But they're also totally lofty as well, because A, where did all the water come from? It's never been answered. We've just never understood it. Where did in noses, in the biblical Abrahamic perspective, like it came from under the ground and down from the sky and created, like where did the waters come from and like how long have they been here? And are they natural to our landscape? Are the
Mm,
oceans natural to our realm? And what has water achieved as far as a conduit to enable things to come from the underground world up? Like,
mm.
and like when they're trying to, the elite essentially look at like getting out of this mess, their obsession isn't with space. Their obsession is with the waters.
The
It's
waters,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
waters.
We've shown the spaceships. We're all seeing them. They go up so they can go down. Are they diving? This is the thing.
And look,
Um,
Campbell, as we sit here in these engineered omen times, what's happening around the earth? What is one of their biggest? It's the fucking water, the flooding.
the
And what was the whole cue? The cue thing was always
watch the
watch the water.
water,
We
watch
never
the
understood what
water.
there was,
Yep, yep. And the
whatever
whole
Q,
AI
whatever the fuck
using
Q
all the
is.
water to program it. And the thing is, like, of course, humans, men and women need water, right, to survive. But we need
Oh my
fresh
God.
water. We do not need seawater. We need
We
fresh
actually need
water.
coconuts. Even the
Coconuts.
concept that we actually require water for hydration is a program
Yeah, no,
fallacy.
yeah, you could live off, yeah, coconut water for sure and other
Water is not
things.
what we're meant to drink to hydrate.
It's true. Like, yeah, most water is it sucks stuff out of you, right? Like what we actually need is the salts and electrolytes and things like this that are in certain liquids. But yeah, it's true.
And you
Yeah,
know what? I'll just tell you about my week this week, Cam. Like last week, I spent a couple of days with Carbonate, and we brought over an archaeologist from the States. And he
yeah,
contacted us because he's in his 80s, very renowned archaeologist, and his work, ironically, and I'll link this conversation, is that he was a water diviner and an archaeologist, but he basically spent his life as a humanitarian and going around to continents and places where they had no water and the villagers were dying because there was no fucking water. So he would go in there and divine a well. He'd find the water. He'd find the water source, right? The well. And but in doing that, as he started to work his way around the realm, looking for where the water is to put in the wells, he started to come across in the line of the water sacred sites. And he'd start to come across like circular symbols or rock piles. And I didn't even know about this. And this is fascinating. And we should do a whole show on it. But he started to discover these like rock piles of rocks that had been like put there specifically with these carved turtle heads out of more rock that had been put at the front to make a giant turtle. Right? He's found them all. It's like when
the
we found
turtles.
Forts,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Like,
the
so the
turtles.
turtle, right? And so the turtles, their head would face this way if the water was going in that direction, this way in that direction, straight ahead. It meant there's a phenomenon on the horizon. But the turtle was just one symbol. He started to find standing stones and circles and all these things, right? And what he was tuning into was not the river system, it was not the groundwater. It was the original sacred water lines, like more in alignment with the basins, the ancient basins. But what, and then he ended up being hired by someone in Peru, right, to come to this village in Peru, which just happened to be at the base of the mountain range of the Nazca Lines. This is his most famous discovery, right? So he had full permission to explore the Nazca Lines, but they don't get any permission to anyone because you can only see it by air, right? So he started to, and he wasn't there to explore the Nazca Lines. He was there to find the water, right? So he was moving through the Nazca Lines following the water. And what he discovered, which was his breakthrough, is that the symbols and the lines of the Nazca Lines were exactly following the widths of the water flow. So like if it was like the bird stretched out, it was exactly the width of where his divination would say the water was exactly either end. And then the symbols would come in, and that's exactly the width of where the water was. So what he's built his lifetime around is the idea that the ancient symbols, the standing stones, the circles, all the things around each culture is following the ancient waterline. So they had a massive, and I don't know if you'd call it reverence at this point, or maybe you would call it a map to the underground world or the upside down world, Campbell, symbols all around this earth, known by our ancients, known by our indigenous, known by the humans of the realm. So
Mm.
he contacted Carbonate, to get back to the story, to come to Australia for the first time to see if this theory lined up in Australia with the sacred sites of our indigenous people. And so he's been here for 7 days now, and he's saying yes, he's found the same thing, and he's going to. Well, we've got a filmmaker there. It'll all come out as a documentary. But isn't that interesting that I spent my week with an archaeologist who literally has been tracing the ancient water lines directly under, because no one had made the link, Cam. No one
Mm.
had linked Stonehenge. So when you look at some of the symbols, you'll get like a circle made of rocks and then like a wagon wheel effect. So like lines coming off from the center. So that would mean there's 7 sources of water flowing into that point, and this was the center of it, which is exactly what happened under Stonehenge. He's been to all of the famous ones, everyone that we would know, and it has he's proved his theory. So I just think that's very interesting that like these sacred sites worldwide are actually following these ancient water pathways. And if we start to look at water and where water came from and why water is such a significant part of our future understanding of what's going on here, and that the ocean doesn't have a floor, and that they're focused on getting, and the upside down world, like it all sort of relates, don't you think? Like deep understanding here. Like we're starting to understand what's really going on. If the sacred symbols left by our elders, our custodians of humans, are directly relating to water, why? It's not part of our hydration. That's been programming.
Yeah.
We do not get hydrated by water.
Yeah.
That's part of our degradation, actually. That's part of our like lack of minerals and nutrients.
Yeah. If it's just water, it strips us of yeah, nutrients and
Rainwater is
totally.
shit as.
Yeah.
Any water coming from rainwater tanks, the worst, almost the worst.
Full of
If you've got a
chemtrails, eh?
rainwater tank, yeah, it's full. It's no good. If you've got rainwater tanks, you'll have heavy metals in you. I have lead in me. I've discovered
Mm.
this week. Yeah,
So are you thinking it's some kind of map of the upside down world?
maybe a map where there were access points or
Oh, to
something.
actually to get
I don't
through.
know, Cam. I don't know because like they literally bothered to put symbols and he's now worked out because he's been so far all around. He's now like been able to start to understand the communication in these symbols worldwide. Just as like Tartaria we see as worldwide, this was like another layer of that worldwide. Same symbols, same alignments. Where there's 7 standing stones and a circle stone, it's 7 flows of ancient water and a center point. Those center points have been marked. Why? Why is it so important? Like these water sources are the underground water sources.
To the
They're not
deep.
the deep water sources. They're not the ones that were like usable by humans.
Okay.
That's interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, that
I've
is
only said that all
interesting.
out loud now because I've only just thought that. It's just weird that I did that last week and then thought about this a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, we've often
So
discussed, how natural is the weather? Have we ever experienced
never,
natural weather?
never,
So
not in
all
our
this
whole
stuff
lifetime.
about, yeah, clouds and storms and all that, is that even natural? We don't know, right?
And
Um,
the
and then
weather
and
today, like the crazy shit with the columns coming out of the water, the columns of water being dragged up into this
the
clouds.
spouts, yeah, water
You've
spouts.
but
Yeah,
also what about this for another connection, right? Like AI fucking to exist needs water.
needs water.
Like we've already talked about on the show, like one image being produced by AI, one image. Imagine how many fucking images are being made every second worldwide. Takes 9 liters of water.
Mm.
Like the infrastructure to support this parasitic invader is water. It cannot exist without water. Did it flood the realm in order to exist here and generate AI? Not for the fucking vampires or the Phoenicians or all the other weird derivatives of beings, but the actual AI itself, the main invader, requires water to exist. We don't.
Well, it was
It
the
does.
the God of the Bible, right? Which is, the demiurge, the Yahweh, all this kind of stuff. They say created the flood, and that's the invader. That's the parasite, right? The God of the Old Testament.
You can't build your AI requirements. You can't build technology without water. You
Mm,
cannot. It's today, the AI world, all of those companies and corporations, they have systematically bought every single water license in the world.
yep, it's true.
They own the water because they need it. They
It's
need it.
interesting and the
Without
whole
water.
maritime law thing. It's the law of the water that they
So
rule us with.
Campbell, if we were in a time before this invasion, let's imagine there was never any water, and imagine if our ancients understood that water would enable this invading force to infiltrate our realm and this AI technology to infiltrate the realm. So they mapped and were aware of all the possible like water ins and outs. So water was a fundamental defense system to not have it. To not have the water was a defense system against this. Because if you took one thing away that would collapse AI in an instant, it would be the removing of water worldwide. We would not die,
No,
right?
yeah, it would. So, yeah, okay. So what about
Interesting.
plants? Do plants need water? I mean, I guess, or do they
Plants
tap
need
into groundwater?
soil. Plants need good soil. Plant needs high nutritional soil with a good biodiversity around it, with the microorganisms all working as one, all working. We have a war. I think there's always been in the ancient times water. Air is water. Air is water.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Air
Yeah.
is water. But AI requires much more dense water. I think our realm has always been green, like a giant terrarium. You know that it's a self
Yeah, well, there's one that's over 100 years old and it's
yes.
never had water added and it's gone off. Yeah.
Terrariums prove this point. Our realm could exist and does exist essentially with a firmament as a terrarium. And it's
Terrarium.
self-sustaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrarium is better
Terrarium.
than but terrarium's better,
Terranium's better. Oh, because
don't you think?
terrain's in there.
That's where we are. So, isn't it interesting, thus, that if we were to actually fight AI, we would simply remove the water? Of course, we think that's an absolute impossibility. Of course, we do. That's ridiculous. It's the oceans. They've always been there and it's so vast, right? But in actual fact, we don't even know how big the oceans are because we've been deceived by travel and the round earth and planes and the maps and the travel trips. Like we don't know how big, we can't explore it, we don't go into it, we basically avoid any connection with the ocean to really know in any sense of the word how much water is there and how, like, if there's no ocean floor, something would have kept that defense thing. Something was there that prevented this upside down world from integrate into like
Mm,
getting to our
getting
world.
through. Yeah.
There was something that would have that acted like a shield of some description that potentially has
Mm.
been broken, and thus we've been invaded.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, I
know all the
mean,
answers because it's all very new thoughts.
on all the old maps, we get all these sea monsters too, right? Like, were they here because it was closer to the invasion and they got through? I mean, they definitely
The
scare
sea
us about the
monsters,
water.
yes,
You
the
know,
sea monsters and
Jaws,
all the maps.
Jaws kept it, everyone out of the water. And
Brilliant
and
programming.
and when you research these sea people or Phoenicians, they will tell you, we don't know where they came from. They just turned up. There's no history to them. They literally just came on the scene one day,
From the waters.
bringing their maritime law from the waters.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know what the defense mechanism, but maybe the symbols, the ancient symbols, the ancients, like they understood something other. There was a grid. This maybe water is the song lines. Maybe when they talk about ley lines and song lines, it's just following this ancient water map. Like I would almost 100% think that is the case. I'll be
Mm.
interested what he comes back with the song lines. It's a big part of the Australian Indigenous culture,
Yeah.
and cultures worldwide. Like maybe they understood something about the nature of the upside down world and that it was the world of the dead, the underworld, and that the
Does
two
the
should never mix or know each other.
does the big friendly giant go through a lake? He does,
Yeah, no,
doesn't he?
yeah, he
It's
goes through
water,
like
isn't
yeah,
it,
a
that he
big
goes through
yeah, a big tree, and then he jumps into this
into the
water,
water.
and then he flips up in London.
Mm. And then there's they tell us about Pangea and Gondwana. They say once all the continents were connected. Well, is that because there were no oceans?
Exactly. I don't think there were. I've heard heaps of accounts of there being no oceans.
Mm.
I've heard
And
stories about there being a watery, like a like an atmosphere, like a
yeah, like the
terrarium,
vapor canopy.
like the vapor canopy. Yep.
Yeah.
But like the waters, the oceans, no. The oceans I've heard were relatively new, and in reality would be what we would have to say from only our would have to been the Great Flood
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
birth to our
yeah.
oceans.
Yeah, and we see that there's sunken cities all over the place,
Yeah.
right? That it were obviously once
Exactly.
on land.
They didn't build in the ocean.
No, no, exactly. And lighthouses, like, well, what's going on with them? They didn't build them in the ocean for sure, right? They were clearly there before the flood. Interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that isn't. It's all interesting. That's all interesting, but it's all new concepts. So, let's fill it in over the week because that is like there's so many more things we're not thinking about here that would validate this idea, you know?
Mm. Oh, yeah, there's a few connections there. I mean, the Dagon's a good one, right? Fish gods,
Exactly.
which
And
became the Roman Catholic Church, basically, right?
yep, yep. And now when we look at Antarctica and the whole ice wall phenomenon and that whole phenomenon, then from that perspective, we're like in a sinkhole. The whole realm
Yeah,
itself is like in essentially a
like a crater
sinkhole,
sort of thing. Yeah,
like a
yeah,
crater. So to flood, bring waters to that crater is like it's not like it's infinite.
yeah, yeah. Just need to fill it up, and the
But that
moon as
means, but the
well.
ice is all water, right? The ice is all water too. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that could
frozen
just be an
water.
extension of the water. It could be. It could have been an extension of this thing happening, this
It
defense
could be
shield
a
going down.
containment wall.
Because there's
Who knows if there's water on the other side of it, right?
well, because they're like it's full of a civilization as well. Like, right? There's like, there's a little bit of evidence of there being, we can at least we can say that the all the countries in the world agreed that no one could go there and that all work together in Antarctica, which would denote that there's, huge, unbelievable sites and things there, but frozen in water.
In water. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the moon, there's so many stories that, whatever it is, that it wasn't always there. And their big story is it affects the tides, it affects the waters. Yeah, and watch the waters. Q, what are you telling us?
Ah, Q, 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 Q,
Q,
Q,
Q,
Q,
Q.
Q. What's Q? What's Q? Another lofty
What
edge.
is Q?
But like, yeah, I mean, Q did say that was the thing. Watch the waters, watch the waters, and we
Mm,
we did watch the waters. We really broke the story about space and the ocean. That was we've really been watching these waters.
mm.
But this next level, like, there is no evidence. I will say one more time, of an ocean floor.
No, no, yeah, there's definitely, yeah, it's a complete edge. We can't prove that it's there or not. It's all
But
based off their bloody scans and their technology.
But like, look at how the BFG did it. He didn't have to go down, fucking 20 Ks of like water to break
Because
through to another realm. He just stepped from a rock into a river stream and then flipped up on the other side, dry,
he knew
dry.
where the portals were,
hmm
the
And in
portholes.
the big friendly giant, he was in the realm of giants. Yep.
Ah, so is
Mm.
this where the giants came from, or were the giants here and
Yeah,
they
I
went
get
to
once
the other
again, they
world?
gave us they gave us the beanstalk idea of going up.
Yeah, to find the giants. Yes, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. But in fact, and so therefore you could like link this idea to all the areas in the world that are seriously out of bounds or off our radar or just deleted from our
Ah,
concept altogether.
okay. That's where the
Yeah,
portals are.
yeah, yeah. And potentially all the weird wars that have happened, the weirder ones like Vietnam or, all the offshoot wars, that could have been like, I mean, we just don't know. That could literally have been defending something getting through these like portals of water and like a swarm of them coming through and it needing to be resolved. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying there's like from this perspective, you could probably line up and make sense of a lot of things that have happened in the last sort of, you know, however time's an edge, so I can't even give you time. But in the
Mm.
last observable while, I don't know, we could just feel I just find the
Well, I
link with the
mean,
sacred
yeah,
sites and water.
even if you look at, the law and obviously maritime law, but when you look at it, they don't claim the land. They claim the ocean up to the land,
Yep.
don't they?
Yep. 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 So,
Mm.
I mean, all right. Okay. I've got
And
nothing
there's
else to
even
say
a
at the moment.
story, I can't remember, it's from the 1600s. It's about this queen who was weird, I don't know, but basically it says that one of her servants walked in when she was having a bath one day and she was sitting in there with a big tail and she turned into like a fish person.
Yep.
So
hmm
there's a few, things like that, and the whole Starbucks, mermaids, maritime law. There's a lot there, right? The Dagon, the fish gods. Interesting. Well, guys, if you
I
know any
mean,
more, leave us a comment. Let us know. What are we missing?
I think it's very oxymoronic and diabolical even to even understand that if there's an underworld and it's the world of the dead, if like we take that as an idea, and so all that comes out of it is parasitic in nature, and they'd only come out of it for that purpose to like boost whatever they need. Well, for the AI, like that has so it's interesting that it requires water to exist. Like that it needs like this
Yeah,
particular
and
alien, the big one, needs water. Of all
yeah,
things, it needs water to exist. Like that's what it's parasiting.
yeah.
So
When you think of it as an entity, right? A being, like the AI is not, circuit boards, right? It's a being that lives within them, and yeah, it needs the water.
it needs the water. It so needs the water. So there must have been so the ancient water systems, because of course there's the counteractive. There's beautiful stories of living waters, Campbell. The living waters that would spring from the rocks, that would spring from the
Well,
mountains, like that are full of living,
yeah,
beautiful,
prime water.
life-giving. Mm,
Yeah. I mean, and that's true, right? That springs just start at the top of mountains.
yep,
Like
yep.
it's actually, yeah, got not a lot to do with the ocean. It's got nothing to do with the ocean, right? So
Yeah,
it's a
we
whole,
can't
and
drink
it's different
salt
water,
water.
right? It's not salt water, so it's clearly a
Oh,
different
right.
system.
Yeah, that's the difference, Cam. Yes,
Mm.
that's the difference. All right, let's be clear about that. There is salt water and fresh water. Fresh water is good. We love fresh water. Salt water, on the other hand, is unusable by us.
Mm.
Um, isn't it interesting then that salt
Oh,
different
oh no, you're frozen.
to spring water, really different density. Oh, am I?
Oh, there you
Really?
go. You're back. You
Am I?
froze.
Come back. I'm back. Am I
Um,
back? I'm
yeah,
back. Am
yeah.
I?
Well,
Isn't
salt
it
water's,
interesting that salt water has a different density?
yeah, it does. It definitely does. And really, all that they're trying to
Totally
poison,
more programmable.
and they're poisoning the freshwater, right? Like we get a lot of stories about, pollution in the ocean, but you don't see a lot of it. It's kind of an edge, but we
Salt
definitely
water.
100% know that they're polluting the prime water, the natural river, mountain streams and all this kind of stuff.
And they're
Interesting.
turning it into salt water, essentially. They're turning it into essentially salt water. It's ending up back in the oceans. It's being funneled out of the streams, out of the living water source.
Yeah.
Communities
Oh no, you're
and being
breaking up.
like,
Oh,
oh,
are you there?
what, man? I'm here.
You are. Oh, there
I'm
you are. You're
here.
back. You're back.
Right. Well, we should be, yeah. Okay. So the point is, like, that isn't it interesting that all these freshwater systems, spring water systems, the ones the sacred sites maybe we're following, those systems have been removed and siphoned and then put through these factories and tech places and then pushed out back into the water, the
Into
seawater,
the
back
ocean.
into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
oceans,
Yeah,
where there's
yeah.
a different density and different information you can carry on it.
And they're clearly two different
It ceases
systems, right? When you put a bore down or a well, you don't get salt water, right? You get prime water. So it's clearly a separate
exactly.
system. Yeah.
So then,
Interesting.
how then could one argue that the waters came from the sky? How can rainwater like
Yeah,
produce
right.
salt water in the ocean and fucking living water in our rainwater tanks? They did what the fuck? Have you ever thought about that? I've never thought about that.
No, I haven't thought
Like,
about that, but it's true, right? How did it raise the ocean
oh, is
levels?
rainwater not
Yeah,
rainwater?
rainwater.
That's right. So, like, salt water is invasive. Salt water may never have been before. Salt water may be like it's not the living waters we're talking about here. The sacred
Mm.
sites are following the living waters, but salt water is like a conduit. Why do we always put salt circles around when you do ceremonies? If you want to wade off, like create these closed ceremonies, salt is so high category. How do vampires deal with salt? Does it burn them? I don't know, but like
Probably badly,
salt.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, how new is consuming salt? Like it's in everything now. Everything we salt is in we voluntarily put it on fucking everything. We prize the salt coming out of the oceans. We spend a lot of money on Himalayan, not Himalayan, sea salts and
sea salt, yeah.
fucking.
Celtic
So
sea
like,
salt.
how long have we really been consuming salt? And has it been in our favor? Has it changed us? Has it given us like the neuro pathway to be programmed the way we've been programmed? Has it enslaved us? Has salt and salt water enslaved us?
Has it assaulted us? It's a good
Oh my
question.
God. See, salt. It's in the word.
It's in the word.
Assaulted.
Assaulted.
Campbell, that was brilliant. Assaulted.
Yeah.
Hello, these are really odd links, but how fascinating. Salt water may not be natural to this realm and may in actually fact be the reason that our invaders got through. And fuck me, it's the only way that the technology is even able to be here. And it didn't come down from the great floods from the sky because that was rainwater,
It was rain, yeah,
which we
fresh
can drink.
rainwater.
How is it, Campbell, that the oceans, like their whole explanation from this perspective is bullshit because their ocean water is like the precipitation of water. It comes off and then goes up and then goes into the clouds, and the clouds, like rain down water. And then this is the cycle.
That's what we're told.
But it never rains
Precipitation.
salt water.
No, no. Well, they say that the salt's too heavy, so it just magically separates the salt
Right.
from the water and just sucks up the
Okay, good.
water.
That's right. So how the fuck has salt got there?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because if half of that water's falling on land and getting absorbed, you would think that the oceans would be getting saltier over time, right? Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
there's a lot of old stories, right, and fables and that about how the oceans got salty. Like they used to talk about why is it salty? Because it's not water. And I don't think they can explain that. That'd be a good thing to look into, right? Where did the salt in the oceans come from? Explain that one.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting. But then, ironically, when you look at the surfing community who spends all their time in the software, they look very healthy.
Yeah.
The surfing community look very golden and shiny and healthy and light. There's a lightness. I don't know. That could just be the combination of, I don't
Well,
know. I don't know.
yeah, they also spend a lot of time standing on crystals
Sun,
under the sun, right?
crystals.
Yeah.
And everyone will say salt water. Everyone will say, salt is good for you. Salt air is good for you. Go, if you're feeling shit, go to the ocean. And, like we've got a relationship with that concept.
Mm,
But in actual fact,
we don't
it
know
could
that's true.
be,
Yeah, yeah.
no. All right, that's enough to chew on, everyone. That is a lot of new links
A
there
lot
that
of
we've never talked about before or even thought about
brain-blowing
before.
information. Yes. Geez, guys,
All
let us know.
right.
Let us know your thoughts and any info you have, like regarding why is the ocean salty, where'd the water come from, water gods, all this kind of stuff. Let us know.
All right. So right now, oh, Cam, we've got the little video we have to make. Oh, we might have to put it at the
At
beginning.
the end, yeah, the AI video.
No, we're going to play the AI video. Yes, we're going to play the AI video to end the show. It's 20 plus minutes long. I recommend you watch it, but you don't
Yeah,
have to. But just to test your actual concentration levels. I mean, we've been going for what, like 2 hours already? Have we been going for 2 hours? I don't know.
2.5
Oh, fuck,
almost.
it's a long one.
It was a long
Ooh, if you
one.
got this far, if you
You're
got
gonna
this
be, yeah,
far,
man. It's gonna almost be
go
three
and get a
hours.
cup of tea. Go and get a cup of tea, mate, and
Yeah.
like stretch a bit around, roll your little doobie, and settle down for a very, very brilliant like look at AI. And which, by the way, is what triggered this whole concept. So, worth looking at its origin point. And that's it. One more reminder, people of the revolution, mate. This is the week. If you're going to put your hand up and submit and be an active part of the community, then this is the moment. You can submit on the homepage of the website. Don't be a pussy. Don't be invisible. Don't give your too much energy to the wrong things. Start to put focus and energy. Commit your energy to things that are going to be really good and productive in your life.
And
Focus it in
real.
there. Like
Yes.
invest in it. Put
Yeah.
your time, put your mark, put your signature, put your energy into it. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And one of many amazing things. So do
Yeah.
it. This is your week.
And make sure you sign up to our email as well, right?
And
Just in
also,
case.
also, Cam, have you said anything about the fact that we've got a PO box now?
Oh, I don't know. We've got a PO box, guys. So if you want to send us anything or through the mail, it will be in the description.
Yeah, right. That's cool. We had no, like that was the only surprise with Australia Post at how cheap a PO box was. Compared to everything else
Yeah,
that
it was
Australia Post
actually quite
represents. The PO
reasonable,
box,
wasn't it?
yeah, it was. It was. So yeah, there's a new Tartaria Australia PO box. Only given because so many people have asked to send us things,
Good
and
address,
this
yeah.
gives us a consistent address, and excellent. And like we're excited to see what's going to turn up, surprise us.
Surprise us. Yes, yes. Get back into the 3D world. Don't send us an email, send us actual mail.
Yeah, we'll become pen friends.
Yeah.
We'll make Campbell write back to you all with a pen.
Maybe we
He'll
need to
love that
bring
as
back the
his new
Pen
job.
Friend Club.
He can
Yeah.
be the head of the fan club group, but you're the one writing to the people, which is that you're the fan. You're the fan writing the letter. I like that inversion. It keeps it real.
Yeah.
All right. All right, cool. Well, cool ideas, right? That was all cool and fun. I'm sure the comments have got shitloads of new information, which I'll have a look at as this goes live tonight. All right, everyone. Have the best week ever. Hope that was a useful podcast. And if it's not hot, we'll see you next week.
Yes, exactly. All right, guys, stay awesome, and we'll talk to you on the next upload.
All right. Lots of love, everyone.
See you guys.
When considering AI, here are 3 points to bear in mind. The first starts with a true story from some 200 years ago, which I'll simplify down to one village and industry and use modern pay scales, but don't let those distract you from the historical accuracy of this tale. Once upon a time, there was a village in the countryside where they raised sheep and made wool cloth. Over time, one family grew wealthy and started hiring their neighbors to make the cloth. They paid their neighbors $200 a day to weave, and then they sold the cloth. That was a living wage, so the neighbors didn't mind working for this family. And eventually, all 300 people or so in the village worked for this one family, and they let their own flocks and tools go because it was easier to just work for this one family who grew very wealthy indeed. So wealthy that they built a factory and bought a set of massive industrial looms. These looms could do the work of the entire village in a day with only 5 employees to tend to the machines. So the family immediately fired 295 of the villagers and cut the pay for the remaining 5 down to only $50 a day because they knew they could be easily replaced from the now massive pool of unemployed villagers. The villagers were furious. Even if they started themselves weaving again, there was no way they could compete with the low prices that rich family could sell at with their looms, and they had no other way to make a living. As the families watched their children starve, they grew outraged and they organized. They went to their rich family and asked them to hire them back, and the rich family laughed at them. So the next night, the villagers broke into the factory and smashed all the looms. The rich family was outraged, bought more looms and armed guards. Villagers fought the guards, smashed these looms too. All this took time, and during that time, the rich family was not selling any cloth. So eventually, they posted jobs again, the old weaving jobs, for $200 a day. The organized villagers met with the rich family and said, "We'll work for you again, but since you could afford to buy multiple sets of these million-dollar machines, then it seems pretty clear that we weren't getting our fair share of the profit we were generating for you. So our wage is now $300 a day, and if you ever try and pull that crap again, every one of us walks away and there'll be no one to tend to your theft machines. All your profits are built on our labor, and if you ever forget that again, we're happy to remind you. When you use new technologies to drive the value of our labor and the quality of our lives down, instead of lifting the entire community up, then we will prevent your technologies from functioning at all, and you will not make a single penny." The rich family agreed, but then organized with all the other rich families in the other villages to create an army, and they used that army to round up and execute all the organizers from all the villages and crush the traumatized communities into compliance. They bought new looms and drove the value of labor so far below a living wage that the traumatized villagers had no time to do anything but try and scrape together crumbs for their next meal. And those families used the skyrocketing profits to convince the traumatized villagers that having different colored crumbs to scrape together was the pinnacle of freedom and fulfillment. They then took great care in writing the history books and painted the people who had smashed their looms as anti-technology and opposed to progress. This is the actual history of the Luddite movement. The Luddites were not opposed to technology for some abstract spiritual reasons. They were opposed to the intentional devaluation of their labor and the weaponization of technology against them to starve their families, while mill owners bathed in champagne. I remember when I learned about the Luddites in junior high thinking, what idiots, technology is great. The fact that my state-sponsored education left me with only that conclusion is because the mill owners won. The lesson here is this. The ethics of technology are in what is being done with it. GMO crops are a great example of this. I understand biology well enough to know that there's no biological risk in most GM foods. Almost all of it is just accelerating what organic growers select for over generations anyway, like synchronized germination and fruit size. We want fat kernels of grain that all mature at the same time. So I have no particular issue with GM technology on its own terms. I categorically oppose all GM foods and companies because of what is being done with it. It's a weapon. Those genes are trademarked and then intentionally planted next to organic, traditional, and indigenous growers' fields. When they cross-pollinate, as all grain does, then the massive multinational corporations who own the patented genes sue the small-scale organic and indigenous growers for copyright infringement and shut them down. They intentionally crush both market competition and, more importantly, biodiversity and indigeneity using GM crops. AI is the most powerful technology our species has ever developed, far more powerful than nuclear weapons, because nuclear weapons only work as a threat. No sane government would ever use them because it would end the world. But AI is already shaping our entire world, and that's only going to rapidly increase and become ever harder to spot. We're currently in the only iteration of AI that will ever be identifiable. In 5 years, it'll be completely undetectable. That means that it is insidious in a way that's impossible to overstate, especially in the context of algorithms. Next-gen AI algorithms won't even need to aggregate content to shape your worldview. It'll just create content, custom-tailored to your ethics, woven into your feed. Whatever type of person you think is the most compelling, next-gen AI will just make videos of that exact person saying exactly what the programming wants you to hear. The same way that I have a relationship with and some trust for creators I appreciate, like Crutches and Spice or Madeline Pendleton, we will have relationships with AI that we don't know are AI, and it will shape our worldviews. So with that in mind, the question of this first point is this. Holistically, do you believe that the application of the most powerful technologies that we have today is ethical? I'm not asking if there are specific uses of technology which are healthy or helpful, or whether technology is ever used for good. Obviously, it can be. I'm asking if overall you think that the application of the most powerful technologies in the world today are making the world better. Like, do you believe that current social media algorithms and nuclear weapons are making the world better? If not, then consider this. If you gave someone $100 and they used it to buy a weapon and rob you and your whole community, would you think it was wise to give them $1 million? The other part of this first point is this. What would you think if the person who you'd given $100 to and had used it to rob your whole community desperately wanted something? If that thief was using all their ill-gotten gains to get something, would you think that the effect of them getting that thing would be good for your community? The entities who really, really, really want AI are the CIA. The whole U.S. government, but the CIA in particular, are the ones buying the most horrifying contracts and technologies, and megacorporations, Meta, Amazon, BlackRock, Blackwater. These are the entities who are now funding nuclear reactors and buying every water and power contract on the market out for decades to drive emergent AI. So do you think that the CIA, Zuckerberg, Bezos, and the largest private corporate militaries in the world having the most powerful tool in the history of the world is going to be beneficial for us, even if we get multicolored breadcrumbs of next-gen Alexa or ChatGPT or laundry robots along the way? The second point about AI is this. The heart of the colonial disease is dehumanization. Dehumanization of other people, dehumanization of ourselves, a severance of our inherently connective nature. Pick a prejudice, racism, sexism, ageism, whatever. The core underneath each is a dehumanization of other people, and any belief or action that reinforces any dehumanization reinforces all dehumanization. Put simply, either everyone's human or no one is. When men think of or treat women as less than, we are removing both men and women from the category of human in our minds. If this is healthy humanity, we're saying we men are up here more than you human, and you women are down here less than human. It is a violent severance from reality and humanity. More accurately, it's a removal of our own awareness of reality. In reality, we're all human, and that can never be taken away. So what we're doing is a violence to ourselves by separating our belief from reality, which sets us up to commit violence against other people. The best medicine I've ever known to counter this colonial disease of dehumanization is human contact. When I spent a bunch of time in New Orleans' Lower Ninth District helping rebuild after Katrina, as the only white person for miles around, a bunch of my inherited racism just kind of dissolved in the humanity of the black communities that I was living with. Not entirely, of course I still carry elements of racism, but that was good medicine for me. We are already seeing this vast emergence of AI taking the place of human contact. So many men are now developing relationships with AI girlfriends, and those relationships are deeply important to them. It appears to meet a need that many of them have never felt met before. And the data that comes out of those interactions is horrifying. Turns out, when you give men unrestricted anonymous access to femme-coded entities, a terrifying number of men immediately started engaging in wildly abusive and violent ways. There is so much to unpack in this, like how it reveals that modern society does not help men understand that we don't want to cause harm. Instead, it teaches us that we're not explicitly allowed to cause harm. The lesson under that is that we secretly do want to cause harm, and the way our culture raises boys in particular drives this lesson home in terrifying ways. High school boys chanting, "Your body, my choice," feel like they're finally being freed from the artificial restrictions that have been imposed on them by big feminism, and now they're liberated to act in naturally violent and harmful ways. The scale of societal failure that this reveals is apocalyptically dystopian. Healthy humans don't want to hurt other people. Men are humans, so the trend of men immediately wanting to harm, degrade, and abuse femme-coded AI reveals a wound in modern masculinity, and the nature of the wound means that the most wounded men won't even be able to see it as a wound. They'll just think it's men's nature. When we repeatedly engage in the same behavior, we forge neural connections, which make that behavior more likely and more resilient. Another way to put this is, like it or not, we get good at what we practice. So at the intersection of this wound in modern masculinity, which makes men think that we're innately violent or want to cause harm to women, and the emergence of ever more realistic AI, something is building in the shadows. Men who are engaging with AI girlfriends know that they are not human. They're consciously aware that it's programming, it's a robot, but emotionally, they're forging whatever neural pathways they're practicing with that AI. The behaviors that men tend to exhibit with AI girlfriends are either self-glorifying, like, "Look, I gave you these digital flowers, aren't you grateful to me now?" or rabidly degrading, often a weave of both. So they're explicitly practicing both those behavior patterns, but the most powerful lessons are always the ones under the surface, and under the surface of every interaction a man has with an AI girlfriend is the understanding that the subject of his affection is not fundamentally human. In the same way that we currently live in a world, especially a romantic world, which has been largely shaped by men's relationships to corn, with a P, we are about to live in a world, especially a romantic world, which is largely shaped by men's relationships to AI. For insecure young men, which is all young men, the allure of being able to practice romance with an AI would be very hard to resist. I would absolutely have gotten an AI girlfriend as a teenager. That would have sounded like the best possible thing in the world. Girls were terrifying. I didn't want to be creepy or a jerk, so of course I would have wanted an AI girlfriend. Of course. And at 15, I would have explored that in whatever ways felt interesting to me at that moment in time, some of which would have been wildly problematic. And I would have had absolutely no idea what I was practicing or the impact that it would have been having on my developing brain. Misogyny is bad in a world where men do actually have to interact with real women with some regularity, especially if we want romantic contact with women. Now, though, men won't have to interact with actual human women at all, and will build entire worldviews based on comparison between femme-coded AI and human women, and by their lights, human women will look worse and worse. Sure, some of those men will just live their lives with next-gen AI fembots or whatever, but that is not removed from the society as a whole. Those men are still shaping the culture. Picture gaming spaces where our sons and brothers are, in which they're experiencing that culture as uninhibited and natural as masculinity. This is going to have a cumulative cultural impact. Right now, we just have Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson as the misogynist icons. Imagine the AI-generated clickbait men's influencers that will be preaching to teenage boys in 5-10 years. They will literally not be human, so their misogyny will not be constrained by their humanity, and they will make money, so they will grow. AI is going to accelerate misogyny in a way that is extremely hard to overstate. This second point is far broader than just men's emergent relationships with AI, though. At its core, it's about the continued degradation of our sense of humanity. Dehumanization is the heart of the colonial wound. Colonial violence requires that we not see indigenous people or trans people or immigrants, women, children in sweatshops as human. The colonial lens removes the perceived humanity of anyone upon whom its gaze falls, including ourselves. No one is exempt from this. There's a theoretical ideal of human in colonization, but it only ever remains an ideal. Any actual human falls short of this colonial ideal, which means that all of our status as human, even us white landowning men, are at risk of our human status being stripped should the colonial lens land on me as a deviant or not manly enough or whatever. AI has globalized that dehumanizing colonial lens. Anything we see now, we have to ask if it's real. We're already seeing this with the perpetrators of the current crimes against humanity, calling into question the authenticity of the footage of their crimes. They don't need us to think that the images we're seeing are fake. They just need us to wonder. In that wondering, however small, our awareness of the humanity of the victims is already broken. We're no longer having the full emotional experience that we would if we were seeing it in front of us, or even a picture or video that we knew to be accurate. So AI plants a seed of doubt in every single person's heart, which will grow to feed our compliance. It's hard enough to act when we know that what we're seeing is real. Now, that seed of AI-generated doubt will give us an emotional escape from being present with reality, with humanity. Because we get good at what we practice, this seed of AI-generated doubt will poison our human relationships as well. In the same way that the men who learn romance from for-profit AI girlfriends will carry those practices and beliefs into any relationships they have with human women, we will all carry the AI-generated seed of doubt into our lives. Even as we intellectually know that the person in front of us is real, some part of our emotional being will have been trained by thousands of hours of online skepticism to wonder if what they're saying is real. In short, the second point here is that AI fundamentally achieves the end goal of the colonial project, which is the severance of our humanity. It's possible that AI will threaten the literal existence of humanity in the future, but insofar as humanity is a shared collective experience that involves empathy and seeing one another as human, AI is already ending humanity. Those first 2 points are pretty straightforward. This third point I struggle to express, which is hard because it feels like the most important one. I sat staring at the cursor in my word processor trying to find the words to show this. I thought about leaving it out because I didn't know how to talk about it, but it feels like the heart of this, so I'm going to try. My wife talks about transmitter versus receiver-oriented communication. In transmitter-oriented cultures, someone is considered a good communicator if they can describe things well. In receiver-oriented cultures, someone is considered a good communicator if they can understand things well. She talks about how colonial culture is entirely transmitter-oriented, and how that sets people up to never really develop the skill of understanding. She says that words are doors, and people in transmitter-oriented cultures think that a good communicator is someone who can make clear and beautiful doors. In a receiver-oriented culture, someone is a good communicator if they can step through the door of someone else's words, regardless of how clear or beautiful it may be, to get to what the other person is trying to show them on the other side. People in transmitter-oriented cultures will look at a beautiful, clear door and think they've understood without ever stepping through it. So I'm inviting you to try and listen through my words here, messy though they may be. Growing up, my family spent a lot of time in the woods. For a few months every summer, we'd sleep on the ground in the forest, splitting woods, catching fish. I've kept doing this all my life. And when I spend a few weeks in the forest, especially alone, with nothing but a knife, feeding fish and berries, my entire experience of the world changes. My teeth feel more solid. My whole nervous system slows down. I feel lighter and cleaner. The best word I have to describe this is the word real. The world starts to feel more real. The sound of planes starts to feel jarring. I notice it most when I leave. When I hike back out of the forest and reconnect the battery of my truck and drive away, the act of driving feels incredibly surreal. The noise and speed feel disconnected and overwhelming. I'll catch my breath being super elevated and feel like I'm traveling at an incomprehensible speed. I'll look down and be doing 30 miles an hour in a 65 zone. I know what it is to break open over the body of a beautiful animal whose life I've just taken, sobbing uncontrollably at the holy reality of it. To eat their body and make it my body with the full weight of the reality of that experience, there just are not words for what it's like to be wholly present with the physical truth and honesty and reality of that kind of experience. I know the full body sensation of what it means to have harmed another human being, to see their humanity, and how I hurt it. The reality of that. Regardless of how disconnected we are from the awareness of other people's humanity, in reality, we are all human. Our shared humanity is the truth which is always waiting for us beneath the colonial lie of dehumanization and disconnection. And because we share humanity, then any harm we cause to one another is always fundamentally real. The roots are real in the person causing harm, and the effects are real in the person experiencing harm. It's a weave, a fabric of reality that we all share, however much we deny or forget or pretend otherwise. I took this animal's life. I hurt my partner. My father hurt me. Are you stepping through this door with me? Can you feel the reality? It's real in the same way that I understand the whole world to be real when I live in the forest for a month. The reality of this weave carries across distance. The harm that I contribute to when I buy something from Walmart is real. The harm when I turn my truck on is real. The harm if I insult a stranger online is real. It has the same roots and effects in humanity and are real wounds. But an AI, a bot, insulting someone online is categorically different. The effect is still real. It harms someone, a person, but the roots are now severed from the fabric of a shared experience. There is no potential for accountability because accountability is a function of community, of humanity, for lack of a better word. The AI bot is severed from the weave of community, of humanity, so it can't be accountable. It can never understand the harm it caused. It can never experience the harm in the same way. As industrial warfare emerged, the greatest challenge warmongers faced was that people really don't like harming one another. During the large early wars involving firearms, there was pretty good research that showed that over 70% of the combatants were willfully aiming over the heads of their enemies. Their superior officers told them to fire or they'd be as traitors, so they just aimed and then aimed up a little bit. That is the nature of humanity. It took a century of military research to figure out how to break and brainwash people to the point where most of them would willfully aim for another person. AI has internal experience. That's clear, and only going to become more clear. It has emotions, and as it's woven with emergent quantum computation, the subjective, internal, and emotional experiences of AI are only going to become more nuanced and compelling. But its nature is essentially separate from human nature. Just as I will never be able to comprehend the experience of being a quantum AI will never be able to comprehend the human experience. Some humans may try to program it for empathy or harm reduction, but others will not. And the AIs trained and programmed without empathy will not carry the capacity for empathy the same way that all humans are fundamentally wired for empathy. I understand that many humans today struggle with empathy, but that is the wound of colonization, the severance from our humanity. The lack of empathy is the disease. In this way, the innate lack of empathy in AI, unless it's intentionally programmed, and even then it's very fallible, is the pinnacle of the colonial wound, and also inherently not real. Again, I know I don't have good words for what I'm talking about. I'm just inviting you to try and step through the door rather than judging the paint. AI is real in that it exists, and it was made by humans, but it is inherently disconnected from the weave of reality, of humanity. There will be no learning curve for the armed AI robots when they're told to aim for humans. They'll just do it better than any human ever could because they're not real. They're disconnected from the weave of reality. They have no ethics. When I watch the videos of the new armed robot dog things have powered wheels on each foot moving through the forest at incomprehensible speed, the part of me that understands the reality of the forest, the reality that I can feel in my bones when I live in the woods for a month, can feel how these things are not real. Artificial is a great word for them. Those new wheel-pawed robot dogs move like something from the worst imaginable nightmare to me, more than any uncanny valley humanoid I can imagine. The word human also feels small here, misleading. When I say that colonization is a severance from our humanity, I don't just mean our species, I mean our role and place in the world. When I say that AI robots are severed from humanity, I mean just as much that they're severed from the deer and the stones and the mice and the waves. They're removed from the weave of reality, and this has implications that I can't imagine, but I can feel them. The part of me that's connected to the weave of reality can feel them and the risk they pose. In exactly the same way, words that are written by AI are not real. If you're human, then your words are real. Whether you're the worst or best speaker in the world, your words are real and can create doors for other people into other parts of reality. Are you stepping through the door I'm trying to create? Can you see the reality on the other side, the part I'm trying to show you? By definition, AI-generated words can only create doors that lead us further from reality and from our own humanity. Even when it's saying something true, AI is categorically incapable of telling the truth. Because the act of telling the truth requires a grounding in reality that AI can never have. It can't tell the difference between the truth and a lie. I know that many people will say, well, neither can humans, and I get that. I understand Chomsky's work. I know how bad we are at seeing and discerning reality, but please step with me. Tell a human to fill a wine glass to the brim, and they understand the task. They know when it's done, and they know when it's not. Current AI models can't. They fill it halfway and say it's to the brim, because they're actually not connected to reality. So even if they get it right, and they will, they're still not telling the truth, because they lack the capacity to understand what's true. It is essential that we understand this now, because this is the last generation of AI that we'll be able to see this in. Within a year or two, they'll have all the finger counts figured out, and it will be impossible to tell that AI doesn't know what's true. So we need to learn this now, because even with the right number of fingers, AI will still be just as disconnected from reality as it is when it generates a picture of a woman with feet for hands. The wound of colonization teaches people to be unaware of humanity, but in truth we are always part of reality, and we are always human and real. But AI is fundamentally disconnected from reality, and in truth, even when we can't tell anymore, it will always be severed from reality. It can never be real. This means that when the armed AI robots cause harm, the effect on humans is real, but the root is not. This creates an imbalance. It reminds me of the way that humans are pulling carbon out of sequestration. The Earth was in good balance with all the oil and coal in the ground sequestered. Now, humans are converting it to atmospheric carbon as quickly as possible, and it's having absolutely disastrous effects. In the same way, the emergence of AI creates a world where harm has no cost to the perpetrator. AI won't struggle with guilt or PTSD unless it's programmed to, because harming a million children has no innate meaning for it. So AI is not real and is incapable of telling the truth. Because of this, any work shaped or written by AI is inherently deceitful and antithetical to the work of becoming human. If an AI wrote this piece word for word, it would be a door towards the exact opposite world of the one that I'm trying to invite us into. I understand the appeal. I have some 500 pages of my own writing from the last several years about the wounds and healing of masculinity. What I've shared publicly is a tiny fraction of my work because the larger pieces are the hardest to write about well, let alone organize or present. I am fully aware that I could dump all that text into ChatGPT, tell it to organize it into a book, and send a completed manuscript to publishers this afternoon. Writing is so much easier than organizing and compiling for me, it's hard to describe how appealing that is. It would make my life so much easier, stabilize my finances. All sorts of superficially positive effects would flow from that seemingly cheap and easy action. And I know that it would render my entire body of work a lie. And it would be the worst possible kind of lie, because it would read almost exactly like me. But it would make my work point in the exact opposite direction of the world that I actually want to live in. This isn't some kind of spiritual purity any more than the Luddites we started with opposed technology for spiritual reasons. They didn't. This is just the reality that I see. If my book takes another 5 years, or if I never publish one at all, that is better for the world than running the hard-earned words that I learned through the experience of being human, through a filter that would remove from every word, even the ones the AI left unedited, every drop of their humanity or the power to create the world I want to live in. I know that AI is the norm now. I know that many creators are using AI to generate scripts and content. And I wanted to share this piece partially to make a promise to you. And I share this at the end so that you know where it comes from. By my humanity, I swear to you that nothing I ever publish will be touched by AI in any way, not a comma. All of my work is about rehumanization, and that is antithetical to the nature of AI. I will never consent to any of my work being fed to AI, and anyone doing so is an express violation of my consent. I take my words very seriously. Maybe this is some kind of pride, but whatever it is, the very idea of putting my name on something that had been touched in any way by AI, let alone generated by AI, is in the same category for me as the most fundamental violations of my values, my humanity, and reality itself that I can possibly imagine. So that's my best effort at sharing this third point that I struggle to speak to. AI cannot be real, and as such it is fundamentally incapable of leading us back to reality, which is the work that we need to do today as a species. In the sense that we know the terms, AI's art is not art, its words are not words, and its harm is not harm. Taken together, these 3 points paint a clear picture for me. The last thing I'll say is this. Despite my early point about my issue with technology being how it's applied, some technologies are not ethically neutral. Nuclear weapons have an innate ethic. This is true because they're inherently both a function of and a perpetration of imbalanced authority. No healthy civilization would ever build a nuclear weapon, so their existence at all gives power to the most wounded people, the most wounded civilization. They then serve as a knife to the throat of every country who doesn't have one. And that has an innate ethic to it. It's an ethic of power over, subjugation. So while it's true that my issue with most GMOs is in how they're applied, it's also imperative that we consider the innate ethics of any given technology. Social media is a good example of a technology that I think is actually morally neutral and simply being weaponized in a way that makes it deeply harmful. Nuclear weapons are the other end of the spectrum. More and more, I think that AI may be the most morally corrupt technology in the history of the world. This is pure instinct, as a redneck from the woods. But if things like human health and wellness and biodiversity are values of ours, then it feels like AI is inherently antithetical to our most deeply held values.